I am the Knight. I am Batman.
People of Earth, I am Darkseid, Lord of Apocalypse.
Service with a smile?
I know about all your other major enemies, but you never mentioned him. He was the biggest, wasn't he?
Oh, come on, it's Lex Flippin' Luthor. Why should we trust him?
What? Like a bunch of super friends?
More like a Justice League.
So
yeah,
we're going to
who's here
review
like
every episode of every show, and we're going to go in production order for the most part. And we're going to start with, of course, Batman the Animated Series, the first 2 episodes, On Leather Wings, and Christmas with the Joker. So on Leather Wings, it opens with a police blimp flying, one of the guys sees wings, later on Man-Bat is mistaken for Batman. A lot of the GCPD wants to go after Batman with Bullock leading the charge. Gordon not so much though. Man-Bat is robbing chemicals and pharmaceuticals. Batman goes to one of the plants Man-Bat robbed, finds a tape recording that has his voice, so he takes this recording to Dr. Marge, who ends up telling him it's 2 sound starlings and brown bats. Batman knows he's lying, so he goes back to his lab and discovers Kirk Langstrom is the Man-Bat. A fight ensues with Bullock and Gordon in a chopper following the two. Batman takes down Man-Bat, analyzes the chemical stolen, and makes a cure, so Langstrom is cured, for now at least. Okay, so let's talk about this episode. So, Connor, I'm just going to call you by your actual names. Connor, what do you think of the episode?
I don't care. Yeah, it's first ever Batman the Animated Series episode I ever watched. And it was a Man-Bat episode, so it was a pretty crazy way to start the series. I was like, they went with one of the lesser known villains. I respect that. Man-Bat's a personal favorite of mine. That's a lie, I hate him ever since he started scaring me in Arkham Knight.
Oh my, jump scares in Arkham Knight, dude.
Yeah. But it was an interesting episode. I don't have too much to say about it. More so just like, most things I want to say about it is just about the like series in general. Like the aesthetic of the series is pretty cool. Just the way that it kind of, it does a good job like Gotham does of making the show seem timeless by, it has cars and stuff that look modern, but at the same time the city itself looks like it's from the 1950s or whatever. So it's cool that they kind of do that kind of noir aesthetic. But yeah, it was a fun episode. I like the cheerful, sassy kind of Batman rather than the brooding version that we see in everything else. And I like the sassy Alfred as well. But yeah, it was an enjoyable episode.
Alright, Everest, what do you think?
Well, this is about the 30th time I've seen the episode, and still great. It's interesting that they chose to start with Man-Bat, who's like, I don't think a lot of people know who he is. I knew who he was because I played the Lego Batman video game, and he had this awesome level in a zoo, and it was lit. But anyways, I liked this episode a lot. Really does, like, it doesn't feel totally like a kid's show. You do have a very unique aesthetic. And I mean, you can't tell me what Kirk Langstrom is taking isn't drugs. Like, you literally can't. And so I like that, but I also like how they have Batman doing Batman stuff. They have his gadgets. It's awesome. And I could be wrong, but is this, like, kind of the first time that we really see, like, the police not liking Batman and, like, chasing him and everything in media? Besides, like, comics?
Yeah, on screen, I think so.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. Like, now you see it a bunch. Like, there's a bunch in, like, The Batman and everything like that, but I'm pretty sure it's, like, the first time we've done it, and I love those chase scenes and everything. And if I had to, like, criticize anything, I mean, the way Batman takes down Man-Bat is kind of like, that's the best you could do, but it works. And I think the animation is incredible for its time and still holds up really well today. Kevin Conroy as Batman, absolute legend. And yeah, great episode.
Yeah, okay, so how he takes down Man-Bat, when he takes out Man-Bat and he like rises up and he's bleeding, I think this is actually the only episode of the show, like the actual Batman the Animated Series up until the new Batman Adventures, that he is bleeding.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're obviously going for like a more mature feel, but still targeting kids. Because I mean, it is supposed to be a kid show after all. But I think how they utilized Man-Bat, it was smart, especially trying to like making Batman out as a vigilante and wanting the GCPD to go after him. And Man-Bat's also like probably no one knew him before this if they didn't read comics, so.
Yeah. 1992, not really a lot of people know who he was.
I didn't watch it until after like the Lego Batman video game and stuff, so I knew who he was, but
yeah, I was disappointed that you didn't get to play as him on the villain side. you just played Catwoman instead. And something you'll notice is like, well, Connor doesn't know this yet, but spoiler alert, Alfred's voice actor does change, so like it's kind of weird going back and watching it, and
I noticed that. Like, it's kind of weird how, because I'm used to,
That was my favorite part of the first episode.
Oh yeah, when Alfred's like,
I think his voice gets better. His character doesn't change at all. There's still that playful dynamic between he and Bruce.
Aspect.
Yeah, I love the dynamic between Bruce and Alfred. I think it's showcased extremely well. Oh, and we see a glimpse of Harvey.
Yeah.
Yes, I did really like that. I like how they're like, like they're giving little hints, like they're not villains yet.
No.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, they're already building this world, so they already have an idea of what they want to do.
Kind of trippy though, how you have two Harveys on the crime scene for Gotham.
Oh yeah, Bullock and Dent.
Yeah, what Dent say? Like, if you catch them, I'll lock them up.
If you catch them, something. I don't know.
I just love seeing Harvey Dent pre Two-Face in everything. Like, I loved it in The Dark Knight. I loved it in Batman, the movie. It's really cool.
Yeah, and if you set him up as a character before he becomes Two-Face, when he becomes
so
Two-Face, it's that much more impact.
Yeah.
Like, I like that they didn't just introduce him in a future episode as Two-Face. It's cool we're getting the setup.
And, I mean, spoiler alert, like, Two-Face doesn't, like, there's a solid few episodes yet before we even see him become Two-Face, so they're introducing him, like, this early.
Yeah, and there's one where he's really, like, the focus before he becomes Two-Face. So, I'm ready to get to that.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, I'm pretty sure that's about all we can say about this episode without rambling on. So, I'm going to ask for letter grades. What would you give it, Connor?
Ooh, it puts me on the spot. Alright, I'm going to give it a C+, because while it was enjoyable, it being my first ever introduction to this universe, it was fine. It was good, but it wasn't great. I think they could have started off the show with more of a bang. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, it was by no means bad. There had been more.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Alright, what about you, Everest?
I'll give it a B+. I feel like there are certain things that could have been better, but just, like, everything from the aesthetic to the interactions and how they set up Batman as a vigilante, and the mature themes while still targeting it toward kids. I think it's a great episode, but there are, like, certain things that, like, A+ for me, at least.
Yeah, I actually completely agree with that. I give it a B+ as well. I think I'd probably give it a B if this wasn't the episode that set up the entire show, because I think it does that extremely well, especially wanting to set up him as a vigilante at first, because I think Man-Bat was the perfect choice for that, because he is the villain that resembles Batman the most, of course. Especially when you just catch a glimpse or see him in shadow.
It's a good way to start off as a parallel between one good Bat-like creature and one bad Bat-like character.
Yeah, because like if they hadn't set him up as a vigilante like that, I would have wanted something bigger, like you said, Connor.
Yeah.
Like, I would have wanted him to start off bigger with a more compelling story, I guess. So I don't think this is an A caliber episode, but I think
Yeah.
it sets up the show extremely well. Okay, moving
Heck
on
yeah.
to episode 2, Christmas with the Joker, and I'm just gonna start off by saying I love that they
It's
did a
so
Christmas
good.
episode this early. So it opens up in Arkham, and all the inmates are singing Jingle Bells, and the Joker is there.
Jingle bells,
And he's topping the tree,
Robin.
and
Yeah,
the
it's
tree
funny.
apparently has a rocket attached to it, and he flies out of Arkham.
Heck yeah.
While singing
is
the
this
Batman
actually
incarnation
where
of
it
Jingle Bells.
originated, or did they take this from?
And I'm pretty sure it didn't originate here, but I think this is like the first
Okay.
piece of Batman media that incorporated it. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, meanwhile, at Wayne Manor, Bruce is like reading a newspaper. I don't know if he's reading about how the Joker escaped or whatever, but this Dick Grayson is actually in this episode.
Yeah, it's really
This is
weird.
one of the only episodes you'll see him in Volume 1, but he's here. Yeah, like, I don't know, I guess it's weird how he just shows up randomly, but I mean, he's in college, so they kind of give an
Yeah.
excuse, so Christmas break, it makes sense that he's here. Anyway, Joker's escaped, Batman wants to go on patrol, Dick just wants to chill, watch It's a Wonderful Life. Batman says he could
Yeah.
never get past the title. I love that. So they go out on patrol, everything seems fine, so they go back to Wayne Manor. Dick's gonna turn it over to Wonderful Life, but surprise, there's a Joker broadcast. So now they go after Joker, Joker's kidnapped. Gordon, Bullock, and...
Yeah.
What was... Summer Gleason, that's her name, right? Okay. So this was like loosely based on Burton's movie, Batman's movie, so I'm kind of surprised they didn't
It's
use
what they
Vicky
chose to
Bell,
just
but
create a
I'm
brand new
happy
character
that
for
they
it.
didn't at the same time. Yeah. But anyway, he's at Gotham Observatory, and Batman and Robin go fight him, and there's a bunch of fight scenes, a lot of Christmas things incorporated, like nutcrackers and whatnot. And Joker has all 3 of his kidnappees tied above like a vat of lava. And he gives Batman a gift, and Batman opens it, takes a pie to his face, but he ends up stopping Joker anyway. Okay, let's actually talk about the episode now.
Oh, I
So,
absolutely
I'll start
love
with Everest this time.
episode.
What do you think?
Probably in my top 10 favorite in Batman the Animated Series. I'm not totally sure on that, but it is a great episode. I love the Christmas aspect all throughout. I think that is so great, and like you said, the line where Batman's like, I could never get past the title, It's a Wonderful Life. That's all great, and we kind of, again, have that mature theme running throughout, and it's less apparent, but like, when you go into the, like, stuff with the Joker not having any family, like, that gets kind of deep, and so we see hints of the Joker and kind of what makes him who he is. Obviously, we have Mark Hamill, absolute god, voicing him, and he's great. I love the Joker setup with the 3, Gordon, Summer, and Harvey, or no, Bullock, I can't think. Anyways, that's all great, and yeah, I think this is a great episode. Robin was kind of weird how he just showed up, but like you said, it makes sense that he would be home for the holidays, and he is at college and all that. So I do think that the Batman-Robin dynamic, I've seen it done better, but it still is very good in this episode. I love Batman taking the pie to the face and still, making the save on the Joker's people he captured and stopping him. And the ending with Joker and Arkham is great. And so I think this is definitely one of the better episodes in Batman the Animated Series. I love it.
Yeah, I did really
Alright,
enjoy this
Connor,
one.
what do you think?
Like, whereas the first one, I had fun with it, but I wasn't really into it. I did think this one was great. It was great to see Joker introduced, and just the Christmas setting was really cool. It was weird just seeing, like, Robin show up like that, but I think it was cool. It kind of gives you an idea of how far into Batman's fighting career this is. It's got to be a good while in if Dick showed up and all that. And I thought that they did a good job at showing kind of the Joker versus Batman dynamic, and then the Batman and Robin dynamic. Just all of it worked really well. It's a Wonderful Life thing was cool, especially since like people always say that Oliver Queen in Arrow is identical to Batman, but then in Arrow, Oliver says that It's a Wonderful Life is his second favorite Christmas movie of all time, whereas in this, Batman's like, he absolutely hates the movie, he couldn't get past the title. So it's cool to be like, well, they're not actually that similar after all. And cool little things like that. But yeah, it was very over the top, which I really enjoyed. I was expecting like this show to be very over the top like that, and I was happy to see it done this over the top. With like the fight scene towards the end where Robin running in, trying to take out Joker's robots, and they're all just shooting so many bullets just everywhere. I was like, that would kill him in a second. Yeah.
And even when he's in the room full of mirrors and like all the Joker
classic villain stuff with Joker trying to dump Summer Bullock and Gordon into lava, and just using machine gun robots at everywhere. And it was a cheerful episode.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah. He had a giant gun on top of the observatory.
Oh, look, it's a telescope. Oh, crap, it's not a telescope, run.
Yeah.
Like, Joker's at it again.
Yeah, it felt pretty cheerful,
Joker
but
is terrifying.
Like, Joker is pretty dark in this episode. Like, when he's about to crash the train, like my mother's on that train, and he just says, "Oh, it'll be even more exciting when it crashes." Like, oh my, like that's so Joker, but that's really dark for a kid show. Like, I don't know how that got past the censors, because like, a kid should be able to pick up on that. Like, oh,
that's Joker for you.
He's having fun murdering these people. And this is something I forgot to mention about the last episode, but it's also incorporated into this episode, is, like, they are doing a really good job of showcasing Batman's detective skills. And that's something people complain about so much in the movies, is, like, they don't show Batman as a detective enough.
This series just
even
has
though I think a lot of movies do.
Batman being a great fighter and master detective, and I love it.
Yeah, I like
that. And he's not too broody.
I'm kind of sick of the broody take.
He can have fun with Robin or Alfred.
Yeah.
He can be broody. He's broody in some episodes, he's broody at times, but like this is a more fun Batman compared to like a lot of versions. It's not too fun though. Like, he's still Batman. Okay, something else interesting about this episode is it's the second in air date, and Hamill actually didn't come in as a voice until Heart of Ice. That was the first episode he voiced in.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, this is Hamill. They had Tim Curry at first, though. And, something happened with him. I don't know what exactly happened. Like, there were things saying, like, he got sick and, like, couldn't do it.
Aww.
But I'm pretty sure later on he just said, yeah, they never called me back. So, because they got Hamill to do it, Hamill is so perfect. So, I'm pretty sure they had Tim Curry's voice for this, but they went back and voiced it with Hamill's.
Yeah.
Which I like to keep with the continuity and stuff. Especially since 14 episodes in, they already had 3 Joker episodes, and if they had Curry voicing 3 of those, and then it was Hamill the rest of the way, it would have been so weird. Like, even replacing Alfred, like, Alfred's a major character, but he doesn't stand out like the Joker. Okay, so I guess that's all we have to say. Connor, letter grade.
I'm going crazy.
Oh, nice. All right.
Probably an A for me too.
All right, Everest, what will you give it?
It's really close to an A+. I don't think I could quite give it that, but it's a phenomenal episode. I love it so much.
Dang. I feel like I'm being negative, giving it an A-. I just think there are better Joker episodes in the show. And like, just like I have just a nitpick about this episode is when he gets tripped up. Like, Batman captures him and he
No.
gets out of the jacket. Like he had fake hands or whatever over his jacket. Or those were just gloves, I don't know. But he had gloves over his gloves. But he escapes that way, and then, like, 15 seconds later, he trips. And is about to fall in the lava, and Batman catches him. So, that just made Joker seem, like, a little too incompetent for me. That's, like, always my hang-up with this episode, is, like... Because he's, like, so dark, and he's so Joker throughout, and then he just trips.
Even Joker doesn't have...
And that's how Batman
no steady
beats him.
feet.
Yeah, man. We all have those days. It's fine.
Yeah.
You can't catch you can't catch me. I'm the Joker, man.
Only escaped
Then
from
falls, like, 10
prison
seconds
and
later.
all that like a day ago. You know, he didn't think to tie shoelaces and all that time. Relatable.
Yeah,
If because there's one
relatable.
comic book character I want to relate to, it's the Joker. Thanks, Doc.
Yeah, man.
Even the Joker has relatability. So hopefully we'll be back next week reviewing the next two
What episodes are they?
of Batman the Animated Series. And the next two episodes are Nothing to Fear and The Last Laugh.
Well, Last
So
Laugh doesn't
already
need
another Joker
That's
episode.
definitely another Man-Bat episode.
So first up is Nothing to Fear, and by the title you can probably tell it's a Scarecrow episode, and the basic plot of the episode is Scarecrow wants revenge on this institution that he got kicked out of for, like, experimenting on students, and he's Professor of Fear, so he's testing their phobias and stuff. Okay, that's the basic premise of this episode. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Connor, what do you think?
Oh, me? Oh boy, this episode. It was pretty good. It was definitely an interesting take on Scarecrow. Like, it was very cartoony the way they portrayed him. Like, it wasn't, it didn't look like a man who was wearing a Scarecrow mask when he was in the Scarecrow kind of outfit. It just looked like a Scarecrow, which is pretty cool. Like, it just had that kind of figure about it. But yeah, we got that iconic Batman line.
Oh, yeah.
And the night. That was pretty cool.
Probably the most
I
iconic
am
line in the
vengeance.
entire series.
I
Yeah.
am the night.
Did you think it was kind of
am
weird that it's in this
Batman.
episode?
I don't know where I expected it to be because I never knew it was from this. I just knew it was a Batman line, and like I never knew if it was from the comics first or it was from this first. But it was like I was kind of expecting it because remember you mentioned something that an iconic line would be in the show. So when it came up, I was like, oh, okay, well that's the right line he was talking about. But it did like surprise me at first because like, wow, that's an interesting place to put the line.
Yeah, because this isn't really an episode people talk about, but everyone remembers that line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an enjoyable episode. I liked a lot about it. It was cool that this is kind of, in the series we've seen so far, this is Bruce Wayne's first real challenge, I find, because he has to deal with his father, like, thinking that he's not good enough, all that kind of stuff, and just the fear toxin in general is always something that Batman kind of has to deal with. It's always something that is one of his biggest things to get over.
Yeah, and this was his, like, first introduction to it because, like, Scarecrow isn't an established villain yet. This was, like, his first
exactly.
Yeah,
appearance
it
in
was his
Gotham.
first robbery. Yeah.
And his
I kinda
design
like-
changes, by the way, Connor. Like, he doesn't look like this in future episodes.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's kind of
He
weird.
doesn't have the teardrop mask.
Yeah, I was like,
I don't like that mask.
it works for animated, but it's a very odd decision.
Yeah, I thought the design was fine except for, like, the face.
Yeah,
Like,
that's something. Yeah, the face was just, it was a bit weird.
Yeah. That'll change in the next Scarecrow episode.
All right, cool.
Okay, Everest, what do you think?
I think this is just a good episode. I don't think it's like a great episode, but I do really like the stuff with Bruce dealing with his father, thinking he's not good enough and the fear toxin and everything. I did find it a little funny how everybody else's fear is just like, oh, spiders and the dark and basic stuff, and then Bruce is just like, my father didn't think I was good enough. Oh man, he's ashamed of me. Dang it. And but overall, he had to get over that. I liked that, and it allowed us to have that line, which is arguably the most iconic Batman line of all time. I would say arguably. And Scarecrow, I wasn't a huge fan of this design, but I do think he works as a villain for this episode. I think they did a pretty solid job at establishing him and everything and bringing him into Gotham. And I like how in this series we have established villains and then we get to meet new villains as the series goes along. So I thought that was very cool. Some fun little action scenes in here and stuff. So overall, besides the line, it's not one that I'll remember, but I would watch it again, and it's a good episode that, it's not incredibly great, but it's definitely not a bad episode.
Yeah, it's definitely not as memorable as a lot of the episodes of the show, but it's a pretty good watch. It's an enjoyable watch. And like the past 2 episodes had, you see Batman's detective side. They're really nailing that.
Oh crap, I forgot to mention that when he's trying to figure out where the chemical, which factory in that.
Yeah, they're really doing a good job of incorporating his detective skills into these episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And also Alfred being a father figure to Bruce. When he's dealing with Thomas, and he's like, I know he'd be proud of you because I'm so proud of you.
Because I'm so proud of you.
That almost made me tear up, man.
That hit me. That was so good. I'm so proud of you, so he would be.
Alfred and Bruce is always a relationship in animated and live action that it gets done so well. I don't think there's a bad Bruce and Alfred.
And when Alfred really displays that fatherness towards him, it makes me want to tear up, man. So the way Batman ends up defeating Scarecrow is he tracks him down to his lab, Crane Chemicals, and he doses Scarecrow with his own fear toxin, and then Crane sees him as a giant bat creature. It looks nothing like Man-Bat did. It looks kind of gargoyle-ish.
Man-Bat looked a little. I don't think he's scary. He just kind of looks a little bit disgusting. Whereas
he just looks like a bat. Batman looked like a freaking bat monster.
Yeah, he actually looked scary in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think all the fear hallucinations were pretty cool in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Connor, letter grade, what would you give it?
I'd give it a B-.
Okay.
It was good. Wasn't great.
Okay.
What about you, Everest?
I would give it a B-, but just the I am the Knight, I am Batman line bumps it up to a B for me.
Yeah, I completely agree. B for me.
Oh, making me look like that.
Just because of that line. And
yeah, I know. It's so good.
Alright, so moving on to the next episode, The Last Laugh. And the basic premise of this episode is it's April Fool's Day, laughing gas is getting spread all around. Well, you don't know it's laughing gas at the beginning, but everyone starts laughing. And cuts back to Wayne Manor, and Bruce is like, this looks like the Joker. Not shit. And Alfred's playing April Fool's pranks on Bruce. He's like, I drew you a bath. And he shows him a picture of a bath. And Bruce says, all serious, he's like, very funny, Alfred. I'll take a shower.
Yeah.
So then he goes, stops the Joker, and that's the basic premise of this episode. Okay, let's talk about it. So Everest, what do you think?
I think this is a fine episode. I'm not gonna hate rewatching it or anything, but compared to a lot more of the Joker episodes and even just the series as a whole, I think this is a weaker episode. That doesn't mean it's bad, but I think it's kind of a very simple storyline, and some stuff gets a little bit wacky, which I guess is fitting for April Fools, but between the laughing gas and then the clown robot thing, Captain Clown, and for some reason the animation looks kind of weird in this episode to me. I wasn't really a fan, when we get these close-up shots of the people and everything. But at the same time, I like the stuff with Alfred, and honestly, it kind of freaked me out when Alfred was going crazy with the laughing gas and everything. I was like, oh, dang. And then I love the arc with Bruce from being like, no time for fun, Alfred. How dare you tell me a joke? To making his own April Fool's joke at the end. And, the Joker is the Joker in this, so I like him. But overall, I just think it's nothing special of an episode. Obviously, you have the Joker's iconic laughing gas and plotline. I feel like if I saw it for the first time, it would have been a little cooler, but now it's been done in literally everything, so it's just like, oh yeah, laughing gas, and I think it's a fine episode.
Yeah, when Alfred was breaking everything, I was just like, man, I really hope he's not breaking anything, like any pictures of Bruce's parents or anything.
Yeah.
Okay, Connor, what do you think?
I'll be completely honest. I didn't really like this episode, like not really at all. They didn't really handle the tone shifts very well. You know, going between jokes and the serious bits. I was like, they would be making a joke 1 second, then just serious next. I'm like, come on, be a little bit more subtle about it. I guess I didn't expect really not like a Joker episode, but I guess here we are. But yeah, it was all right. There was, well, I wouldn't even say it's all right. I just didn't like it.
Okay, so this felt like an episode that would have been, like, if it was going to be a Joker episode, it felt like it should have been the introduction episode, but, like, coming, in production order, coming off Christmas with the Joker, it just feels weird. It's a lot weaker than that episode. And just compared to a lot of Joker episodes in this show, it's a weak episode.
Yeah.
But, like, it's a weak Batman the Animated Series episode. Overall, it's still a good episode of, like, animation. Compared to a lot of other shows, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
But Batman the Animated Series is just that great. You guys both failed to mention Captain Clown, though. That is, without a doubt, the most memorable thing from this episode.
No, I like
You
it.
killed Captain Clown!
Oh my god!
Man's a murderer.
He killed a robot. Wait, the Avengers are like mass.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Didn't he take the two thugs, like the two Joker thugs? Didn't he take their masks off and expose them to the laughing gas?
I'm pretty sure he did.
Didn't he?
It's kind of brutal.
Dang Batman! You could have just knocked him out.
Yeah.
You didn't have to expose them to the gas.
Bro, if they stay under that for long enough, they can be permanently insane.
Something I really liked about the episode, though, was when Joker puts Batman in the canister thing or whatever and starts poking holes in it and sinks him to the bottom, how Batman just presses the button to call his Batboat over.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's really cliche now, but, like, in 1992, I'm not sure if that was cliche, because, you know, we've seen it in basically everything now. Almost every Batman animated show has something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, if this was going to be an episode, it really felt like it should have been the Joker's introduction, but it was the second in production order. In an air date order, it was third, so I have no idea. And he gets defeated the exact same way he did in Christmas with the Joker, but instead of, like, tripping on a roller skate, he trips over a wire.
Yeah, that's the reason I didn't like it. It makes Joker look incompetent.
Yeah, see, that's why I didn't mention it last week, because I knew he got defeated that way in this episode too, but I didn't want to spoil it for you, Connor.
I forgot too, so.
And I think it makes more sense here because he trips over like a wire and he's like running from Batman, so he's kind of scared, but like last episode he was running from Batman too, but he wasn't like terrified.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so Everest, letter grade.
I'm gonna go with a C+ on this one. I think it's a fine episode, and it's a weaker Batman the Animated Series episode, I would say.
Well, I'm gonna give it a C+ too. And Connor?
Brayden!
Connor, what would you give it?
D-.
Okay, yeah, I figured you're ending on a negative note.
Sorry.
So Connor didn't actually watch the last week. He accidentally watched a different episode. So Connor, tell the people what you actually thought about the episode after you watched it.
You know what? It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I would give it an A-.
Yeah, so definitely different from the D- you gave it.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I'm glad you actually enjoyed it, because me and Everest were kind of not really negative, but we weren't super positive on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just thought it was a fun episode.
Yeah.
Plus the Alfred joke about the bath, that got me.
Yeah, that's why I like having you here, because like me and Everest have seen the series before, so we kind of base it on later episodes too. But you're just along for the ride, so it's fun having you.
I'm just here for the fun.
No, it's really fun getting someone's like that's just now first seeing the show's insight.
Because it's like a whole different perspective when you have two people who've seen it like 80 times, and then you have Connor over here who's never
I've only seen it like a couple dozen times.
Right.
Okay, buddy.
I should just roll the clip if you've never seen it. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get into Pretty Poison. So the basic premise of this episode is Poison Ivy's dating Harvey Dent, which they don't know it's Poison Ivy yet, but it's a whole revenge plot because Harvey killed a bunch of plants like 5 years before this. Yeah, that's the basic plot. So, Connor, what do you think?
It was great seeing Harvey Dent again. You know what? I love me some Harvey Dent and all that. But I do think this episode kind of painted him out to be not very, I guess, astute. He wasn't very smart. I know that's because, like, you know, he was being manipulated by Wisely and all that. But at the same time, like, it seemed like he was very just not smart throughout most of the episode. I also thought the design for Poison Ivy was kind of weird. Like, she just looked very different compared to everyone else. Which I guess is kind of like, you know, they're trying to do that because she's a villain and all that. They want her to stand out from the normal characters. But it just, something was off about it. And it's kind of like the opposite of Scarecrow, where I thought Scarecrow, the way they designed him, suited this world they're doing. I don't think the design they went with for Poison Ivy kind of suited the overall tone of the episode or the world they're going for. But it was enjoyable. I didn't love it, but it was pretty alright.
Yeah, I actually think Ivy's design is kind of weird too. I think it's like one of the lesser villain designs in original Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah.
And like once they transition to a different animation in the new Batman adventures, she's one of the few villains that the design change I prefer. But you'll see that later on. Okay. Anyway, Everest,
in like
what do you
4
think?
months.
Yeah. Anyway, what do you think of the episode, Everest?
Again, like Connor said, it's great seeing Harvey Dent and, you know, working him up to becoming a person with multiple head parts. And again, I guess Connor too has the point. He was kind of like iffy on the brain side of things in this episode. But like overall, I had a fun time with the episode. It's just, I think this is, as far as Batman the Animated Series goes, a very basic episode. Like, I don't think there's anything super special about this episode. It's all just kind of like average. And I mean, I did have fun with Isley and, you know, her potent kiss powers and stuff. Like, I think they set that up pretty well. And I like that, you know, Bruce at the end is just kind of like, you know, Harvey, Isley, you know, just maybe don't do that. Like, just don't. I thought that was a really good way to kind of tie everything up. But overall, I watched this and I'm like, oh yeah, it was fun. But there's nothing like really standout about this episode at all.
Yeah, there's nothing that would like bring me back to it.
Nah.
Yeah, for some reason I like remember this episode being a lot better than it actually was. Maybe it's just because this is really the only episode before Two-Face that Harvey's really the focus of. So that's really all I remember this episode for. And yeah, for good reason, because nothing else in the episode is memorable at all.
Nah.
It's kind of a disappointing intro to Poison Ivy.
Oh yeah, like, I think they could have done it much better.
Yeah, and thinking about the Poison Ivy episodes we'll see later, this is maybe the weakest Poison Ivy episode? I'm not sure, though. There may be one I'm not remembering.
Poison Ivy's just a weird villain, I think. There isn't, like...
Elaborate on that. What do you mean she's
Bro,
a weird
8-year-old...
villain?
I don't know. There isn't much that I'm like, hey, she's a great villain. Like, I just
8-year-old
don't
me
like
had
her
a
that
mad
much.
crush on Uma Thurman's Poison Ivy, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I actually think Uma Thurman was like the best part of that movie, but that's aside from what we're talking about. I can't really add much to what you guys said, so oh yeah, the final showdown between Batman and Poison Ivy is just kind of your standard villain versus hero showdown.
Yeah, just with more plants.
And it's like she infects Batman with the toxin, right? But you know he's Batman, so he doesn't.
Yeah.
He resists that shit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Batman villains like involved with toxins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ivy, Scarecrow, Joker.
Yeah. I did like that though when Batman's like, nah fam, I resist this.
Yeah, I really like that shot of when he's tied up with the vines. I don't know why. I just looked visually appealing. Okay, anyway, letter grades. Connor, what would you give it?
Like a C+.
Okay, I'm gonna go first so Everest can't say I copied him if we give it the same letter grade. I'm gonna give it a C because I don't think it's as good as The Last Laugh. I'd rather rewatch The Last Laugh over this, so.
Yeah.
Average.
Plus Joker.
I'm gonna go with Connor. I'm gonna go one above you, C+, I think.
Did you just copy me?
Yeah, see, I was thinking a C+, but like I can't bring myself to give it something above The Last Laugh because I
don't know.
rather rewatch that episode any day.
Like C+ or C, they're kind of like on that edge for me, but I'm going C+.
Alright, let's get into the next episode, the Underdwellers. So,
Can we not?
Well, spoilers,
Skips.
Okay, so, Sewer King has a bunch of children, and in Slade, basically, they go up to the surface to steal stuff for him, and Batman has to take him down. That's basically all this episode is. Well, also, Alfred deals with one of them, but... Okay, let's get into the episode. Connor, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about it. There wasn't much that like left an impression on me. You know, basically just what you described the plot as is all I can really say about it. I did like the Alfred stuff with your kids, like show that Alfred is very much a father type figure, which, you know, he was kind of a father to Bruce after Bruce lost his parents and all that. So it was cool to see kind of Alfred being like that with another child. But that's kind of it. Yeah, it wasn't a strong episode. It was just kind of there. Like, I'm pretty sure at the end of this, it'll be one of the episodes that I completely forgot happened.
Yeah, completely understandable. Everest, what do you think?
Yeah, this is one that I definitely was not looking forward to rewatching, and definitely lived up to that. I don't want to say I hate this episode, but I kind of hate this episode. It just everything makes no sense. I keep asking myself, why was this made? Like, it's just everything from the Sewer King, who's just awful, to, you know, just everything with the kids and him abducting them. I just don't get why they had to do this episode. The only, like, actual cool thing was Batman freaking hog-tying an alligator.
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
That's probably my favorite part of the episode, but everything else, man, just nothing really worked for me at all, from just kind of the plot to how they executed it and everything, and how we're having all these other episodes with these villains that, you know, they're pretty cool, and then we just have Sewer King in here abducting children and stuff, and just overall, man, I really don't like this episode. I don't know what else to say.
Are you implying that Sewer King isn't the most iconic Batman villain? Because I think he is.
Yeah, this episode was bad. Especially for an episode of Batman the Animated Series, very bad.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing about it is memorable at all, and going in, I was pretty sure this was my least favorite episode of the show, and after rewatching it, I'm thinking that's probably still true. I don't know. We'll see once we get through the entirety of the show. But yeah, what did you guys think of the leprechaun gag?
Oh, it was so overused.
Yeah, it was never good to begin with. It was overused. It was used so much. But yeah, Batman versus alligators was the best thing.
Oh, yeah, easily.
something small that happened that I kind of thought was cool, but I mean, the dialogue was awful. When Batman like saves one of the kids and the cop like sees it happening, he's like, "Oh, Leprechaun and Batman, this is just a crazy day." I'm like, "Oh, so some cops still don't even know Batman exists?" So like they're still going with that.
Yeah, like Robin's around, so you'd think Batman's been around for at least a couple of years.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting because like in the first episode they like made him out to be the vigilante, like no one really knew Batman existed.
Could we just like a whole urban legend thing? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
I thought they just kind of abandoned it after episode 1, but
yeah. Like I hate to bring up Arrow, but remember in Elseworlds when like Batman's been missing for a while, but he was around for a long time before he went missing. Yet loads of people still think he's just an urban legend and he never existed.
Yeah, I was like, that guy must be like new to GCPD or something.
Yeah.
He's new on the job, man. Give him a break.
Well, yeah. So, I have a theory about like why they haven't used that many Batman villains, because the next big Batman villain they're going to introduce is Two-Face, which is like 4 episodes away, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they've only introduced Joker, Scarecrow, and Poison Ivy up to this point. And I mean, they've teased Two-Face with Harvey, but I feel like they were really trying to find their footing before they actually introduced a bunch of the rogues, which is why a lot of these early episodes are just okay and don't really introduce a lot of his rogues gallery.
Yeah.
Which I actually think is really smart on their part.
We saw Man-Bat too. Most iconic Batman villain.
Oh yeah, that's true. We did see that.
Brayden, you've seen this
I really like that episode
times.
too.
Fake Man-Bat fan.
Well, he doesn't really show up that much more, so... You see Joker...
What?
Yeah, he doesn't.
Oh, no.
You see Joker, Scarecrow, and Ivy, like, quite a bit more, so that's why I remembered them.
Doesn't Man-Bat have, like, one more episode?
Yeah, I won't spoil it for Connor.
Is it as amazing as I hope it is?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
You can believe what you want,
I don't want to
Connor.
spoil it for anyone.
Man-Bat fans represent.
Anyway, we gotta give letter grades for the Underdwellers. Connor, what would you
I
give
would
it?
give it... And now I know I already overused this letter grade with that last laugh, but I mean it with this one. D-.
D-?
Yeah.
I completely agree, D-.
D- squad boys. Let's
Oh,
go.
yeah.
Like, I
You did
just
it.
can't give an episode of this show an F, but, like, this would probably be an F if there was an F episode, but I'm not gonna give it an F.
Yeah, it's Batman animated series. You can't give it an F. It's like...
Can I change my grade to an F?
No.
Oh.
See, there is no
Oopsies,
F
oopsies.
in the entire title of Batman the Animated Series. That's
Yeah.
a sign right there.
That's true.
That's a promise.
I don't know why that changed mine, but it did.
I mean, I'm pretty sure there's not any C's or D or C's either, but you know, there's a D, so we go to D.
Yeah.
And there's an A, so we start at A.
And yeah, there's a B. You know what? They misspelled series. Series is actually supposed to start with a C.
We watched P.O.V. and The Forgotten this week. 2 pretty different episodes of Batman the Anime series, but let's go ahead and get into the first episode, P.O.V. So, this episode is basically just 3 cops at a crime scene. Bullock, Montoya, first appearance of Renee Montoya, and this other cop just called the Rookie, first starting out on the job. And they're at a scene that Batman's also on the scene at, but we don't actually figure out what happens until later on in the episode, but we get a perspective from each cop's point of view. So, let's go ahead and talk about the episode. Connor, what do you think?
I thought it was interesting that this was the episode where they introduced Renee Montoya, because, like, you know, she becomes the superhero of the question, and she's introduced into the comics and everything like that, and this is her first appearance. And it's kind of interesting because she doesn't come off as a particularly, like, unique character. She just comes off as kind of another random GCPD cop that might have a pretty big role in this episode, but you'll probably never see again. That's, like, how she came across us, and if her name was anything but Renee Montoya, she probably wouldn't have left that much of an impression on me. But because she's Montoya, you know, obviously I was like, wow, that's the question and all that. But I was like, I was just surprised they introduced her in an episode like this. Like, I knew that she made her first appearance in Batman the Animated Series, but I was expecting her first appearance to be something more memorable, I guess. Like, it was still good. It was still fun to watch, like her helping out Batman and all that, and ended up, like, you know, saving Bullock and the Rookie when it came to getting their badges back. But I was like, it could have been bigger, but I guess maybe they didn't know that this character was going to be so big, I guess, in the whole DC Comics universe. I thought the Bullock stuff was interesting. It's like, when I was watching this, I was kind of just realizing that the only version of Bullock that isn't portrayed as a completely, like, just not a nice person, I guess, is Gotham's version. Because every other version of Bullock you see is just very hard to get along with, very hard to talk to. And I guess the Bullock was kind of like that in the first few seasons of Gotham. But the later seasons of Gotham, he was a much more nicer character than any other interpretation of Bullock we've seen. So that's pretty interesting. The trial stuff was cool. It was a highlight of the episode for me because I just like cool scenes like that. And I thought Montoya, you know, saving Batman, and then like Batman, he'd let himself get caught so that he could find the leader of that gang or whatever. I didn't like the villains that much. I thought they were pretty underwhelming, just another random gang that we see in these kind of stuff all the time. But yeah, that's kind of all I have to say on it.
All right, Everest, what do you think?
So yeah, this is a very different episode. I thought they did it pretty well. Like, it was interesting seeing Renee Montoya. I guess I kind of agree where they could have had her, you know, have a more memorable first appearance. But I liked the episode. I love seeing, like, the different perspectives of everyone and how the whole thing went down. I thought that was well done, as well as the fact that, you know, we don't see a ton of Batman in this episode. I mean, we see him towards the end, but other than that, he's kind of absent, which let the story focus more on, you know, the different perspectives of Bullock, Montoya, and the Rookie and everything. And I will agree, the villains were pretty underwhelming. Like, I didn't really care about them at all, but I did like seeing Montoya help out Batman and everything towards the end. And whereas I don't think there's anything that's like, wow, that was incredible in this episode that I will, like, forever remember, I think there are a lot of, you know, nice moments and cool things that they did in this episode. So it's different, and it's not like an incredible episode, but I think they did what they were trying to do, and to be honest, I had fun with it. I love that kind of different perspective thing that, you know, whenever we see that in TV, I think it's usually done pretty well, and I didn't think this was any exception. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. Obviously, there's things that could have been done better. My, like, one stupid gripe with the episode is just when Montoya and Batman are, like, right out in the open, and this one guy's got a machine gun, and he can't hit them at all. Like, did you go to the Stormtrooper shooting academy? Oh,
that's gonna happen a lot in the DCAU, though.
I know, but it's just, like, one thing that I know that it's TV and it's DCAU and everything. It's just, like, I don't take that many, like, things away from it, but just kind of...
Throughout this rewatch, you're gonna see a lot of people missing clear shots and a lot of computers exploding.
Yeah, those are basically the two cliches. But overall, I think the episode was pretty good.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed this episode quite a bit. I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to, just based on, like, previous viewings.
Yeah, same.
I was like, I remember it being an okay episode, but, like, I enjoyed it quite a bit. And, yeah, the villains weren't good, but this episode wasn't about the villains, so that didn't bother me at all. It was really about the GTPD's dynamic with each other and dynamic with Batman, like, how they see Batman. And I really liked the Rookie story. It made me laugh so hard because he, like, portrays him as supernatural. You know, when he throws the batarangs or whatever, he's like...
Yeah.
He threw
that
his
was
hands
so
out
great. He just
pointed
his hands out and he dropped to the ground.
And then the grapple gun, he's like, he shot a ray.
He pointed his fingers out and a ray came.
It made me laugh so hard. I was like, I love this.
Yeah.
Because it's also going along with what they've kind of portrayed in the first episode and what they teased throughout the whole urban legend thing. And seeing Batman as supernatural, not thinking he existed. And Did anyone think the rookie kind of looked like Archie Andrews?
That didn't cross my mind, no.
I just looked at
I
him
guess
like,
he kind of does.
I'm like, he kind of looks
The
like
red hair?
Archie.
I guess, but it didn't cross my mind when I was
Yeah.
I don't know, I was just watching, I was like, okay. I never thought about that before. But yeah, episode also kind of showcases that the GCPD, like the cops in Gotham, are kind of competent. They're not completely incompetent. Like you think of a lot of the cops in Gotham, aside from Gordon, as incompetent a lot of the times, because that's how they're portrayed most times.
So that Batman can save the day.
Yeah.
Well, they always make like most of the Gotham PD be corrupt and like on the take, and that they even bring it up in this episode. Are they on the
they're
take?
like,
yeah, I love that.
Bullock, did you go in after the cash?
Yeah, which is a very Bullock thing to do.
Oh yeah, for a second I was like, wait a minute, is
Yeah.
that what actually happened?
I was like, okay, did Bullock like screw them over and all that?
I like how Bullet had some food and the lieutenant just slapped it out of his hand and he just looked like, what the fuck, man?
The way he was like, Bullock was like, and then something made a noise. It must have been Batman, and we cut to him tripping over a paint can.
Yeah, I like that. They were telling their stories, but it was showing what actually happened.
Yeah.
So that was awesome.
That was really well done.
And I really like this version of Bullock because he's kind of a dick at times, but he doesn't come off way too dickish. As like you see kind of credit Montoya at the end.
Yeah.
All right. So
I thought like that ending pan shot when like it was going up into the sky looking down, and I was like, I wonder if Batman's gonna be looking over them, and then just ended.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna show Batman too, but no. I was like, oh, it's gonna show Batman looking over the city or looking over not the city.
It was that heroic hero shot.
Another thing I want to point out, like, it's good in almost every episode, but the music in this episode mixed with the atmosphere, I felt really well done.
Alright, yeah, so I don't really think there's too much else we can say about the episode, so let's go ahead and give it some letter grades. Connor.
I give it a C. It was fine.
Okay, Everest.
Think I'm gonna go with a solid B. I like the episode, but it's just not as good as some of the others.
Everest, we really need to stop giving stuff the same letter grade.
Brayden! Shut up!
I'm giving it a B. It's good. I really enjoyed it, especially the first half.
Same.
Like, I enjoyed the stuff without Batman more than the stuff with Batman.
Yeah, same. Like, I felt it kind of dropped off, and like if the second half was as good as the first, it'd probably be B+.
Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the Forgotten. So, Bruce is going undercover because all these homeless people are going missing, and he gets hit, gets kidnapped, turns out he has amnesia, can't remember who he is, eventually does. Alfred goes in the Batwing to save him, and Batman ends up saving the day. So, Connor, what do you think of the episode?
I like this episode a lot more than the other one. I expected to like the other one more because it had the first appearance of Renee Montoya and all that in it. But for some reason, I just like this one more. It was just an interesting, unique plot with Bruce getting amnesia and all that, and having to really kind of rediscover who he is. There's a lot of that in recent episodes, like there was with the Scarecrow fear toxin and stuff like that, like where Bruce kind of has to battle his own demons per se, or like figure out who he is. And that was pretty cool. I like the Bruce, going undercover in that because I love just seeing him do detective stuff. The bit at the very beginning with him working in the soup kitchen, I was kind of thinking to myself that isn't a very Bruce Wayne thing to do. Like, while he does try and help the people, he more so, when he's Bruce Wayne, he more so still does it from the shadows. Like, he would just donate a couple million to whatever. He wouldn't actually really go down to the soup kitchens himself and kind of do that sort of stuff, I find. Like, he kind of just, isn't very hands-on with that kind of stuff, but he'll still help in the ways he can. The prison stuff was cool. The villain wasn't great. Like, it was a very stereotypical kind of villain that we see, like, one of those warden-type people in, like, a illegal prison or whatever. But it was still I thought the villain this episode was better than the villain last episode. I think they were more there kind of for comedy, I guess, in a way. But, soundtrack was really good in this episode. I liked a lot of the soundtrack. Alfred going after Bruce was cool to see that Alfred, he isn't just just a butler. He knows what he's doing sometimes. And yeah, I had fun with this one.
Alright, Everest, what do you think?
To be honest, I wasn't as much a fan of this one as P.O.V. Like, I think the concept and idea behind it was really cool. I just feel like they could have executed it a lot better, in my personal opinion. I've always had a pet peeve with, like, amnesia storylines. I don't know what it is, but I just don't really like them that much on average. So
Me too,
that
dude.
was, like,
that was my
iffy.
main problem with this episode.
Like, the amnesia I just don't like. And it was cool seeing Bruce go undercover. I think it could have been handled a little bit better. I will say, like, Alfred, showing that he wasn't just the butler was cool. And I do like that final, like, action scene in the mines and everything. But, like, overall, I wasn't a fan of the amnesia thing. And some of the prison stuff did work. And, some of, the other stuff I like, but I just felt like the episode could have been a lot better than it was. I still had fun with it, but it's not one that I'll be like, yeah, that was a really great episode. And, yeah.
Okay, guys, imagine this. My favorite part of the episode is when he looks into the mirror, it goes from Bruce to the Joker, and he pulls him in. I freaking love that.
I love that, too.
I remember him seeing Joker in the mirror, but I didn't remember Joker actually reaching his hands out and pulling him in. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I forgot to mention. That was cool. Yeah.
And then him seeing his parents later on, and he's like, oh, that's who I am. Because, like, the Joker thing was a step closer to him figuring out, and then, like, his parent is like, oh, I'm Bruce Wayne. And he's still, like, I'm not sure if he still knew he was rich. I'm guessing he did, because once he saw Alfred, he's like, oh, yeah, I'm Batman. Which he saw Batman before that, but... Good thing Alfred brought the suit.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, there's
he
no
didn't.
Alfred
Bruce got to go all
Alfred
the way
knows.
back to the Batcave and then come back and rescue everyone else. And
yeah, I thought the score was really good. It's probably my second favorite score so far. I like the last laugh score a little more.
Yeah. I just liked how they did, like, the action sequences inside the prison and all that, the music for it. It did a good job, and it definitely made it stand out more than other episodes, I thought, in terms of the soundtrack.
Oh yeah, this and the last laugh have definitely made the soundtrack stand out more.
Yeah.
And it really gets you into the episode. Las Vegas is gross. I don't like him. Which you're not.
Same.
But, like,
I don't like him at all.
he wasn't an interesting character. He just ate a lot and...
yeah. That's what's like, I think he was there for a joke, kind of more than be, like, a big villain.
The hypocritical fat guy that just eats all the time. I don't know, it's kind of weird seeing, like, Batman, him in the suit, in daytime, just in this ranch-type environment.
Yeah.
Which they took it to the mines, which was better, I guess.
Yeah. The mines were cool, I guess.
Yeah, there's not much else I could say. I just wanted to add the Joker thing, really. Okay, so, Connor, letter grades.
I give it a B. I liked it.
Okay. Everest.
Gonna give it a C, I think.
Reverse gradings here we got.
Yeah. Stop giving stuff the same letter grade as me, Everest. C.
Are you C?
Yeah,
Are you...
C.
Everest, I think you're, like, stealing Braden's notes or something.
Yeah. Be a clown and Two-Face. I'm not even going to do a plot summary. Okay, I'll do a plot summary. Be a clown. The Joker's hanging out in his hideout. He's watching TV. The
Joker's kidnapped the kid.
The mayor's like, oh, the Batman, he's just as bad as freaks like the Joker. And the Joker's like, what? Compare Batman to me? And then he goes and kidnaps the mayor's son and he dresses up like a clown. Takes him back to the hideout. Batman saves the kid, all that. Let's talk about the episode, though. Connor, what do you think?
Oh, no, put me on the spot like that. All right.
Connor, you're always first. What do you mean?
Connor,
Listen,
this whole series revolves around you.
Okay, thanks. But anyway, yeah, it was an interesting episode. I thought the plot was pretty cool. I didn't expect them to do a thing where, like, a kid sneaks away with Joker, and I was like, that was an interesting thing to do. Play up the aspect where we're actually we actually spend most of the episode from Joker's point of view rather than from Batman's point of view. That was interesting. The whole bit about Joker being like, I'm nothing like Batman and all that. I thought that was cool because it's a different take. Because normally Joker sees himself as very much the same as Batman, or he sees Batman and himself as just so similar. Like in The Dark Knight, the movie, there was that whole big thing about how Joker was like, Batman and Joker are the two parts of the same whole. So it was interesting in this where he was like, nope, completely different and all that. Yeah, the kid stuff was cool. I like all the stuff of Bruce not being Batman, pretending to be an idiot and like tripping over the cake, knocking it into the pool and all that. I was like, more of that, please. And yeah, that's all I can have to say. But it was good.
And he recognizes Joker because of the laugh.
Yeah, that was cool.
I like that. Okay, Everest, what do you think?
I mean, I can't really add a whole lot to that. I thought it was a pretty good episode. Definitely the plot was pretty interesting, and yeah, I still love how basically every single episode they're doing something to give you Bruce's detective skills. Rather it's on a computer or just something like recognizing the Joker's laugh, they're doing something like that. And then obviously you have the big scene at the like abandoned amusement park or whatever with Batman and the Joker and the mayor's son. And I do like the moment at the end with the mayor and his son kind of reconciling. I thought that was pretty sweet. And there are like a few things that I don't know, I didn't love, but overall I thought it was a good episode. I wouldn't put it up there with like the best of the Joker episodes for sure, but I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, so Amir Hill, he's pretty notorious for being kind of shady and stuff. They just make him like a total dickhead in this episode. Even towards his son, it's like, dude, let your son have a childhood. Come on, man. This is how you create fuck-ups in life. Like, for real. Okay, there's like one reason I enjoy this episode more than the last laugh, and that's just because the Joker has an actual hideout. The abandoned amusement part, I love that. And doing all the magician stuff. Oh no.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty fun. I mean, I think this is more of just a standard Joker episode too, but they do something different with them.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can't really add anything.
Yeah, I think that the idea, like, of the kid sneaking away with Joker and that, I thought it got less interesting as the episode went on. Like, while I enjoyed it, I think that could have been done better to keep me interested for longer, because the way they played it out, it just got a little bit boring, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of liked how, at the end when the roller coaster part of it's blown up, they set that up earlier with the bomb Joker threw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a random hole, or they didn't forget about the friggin' bomb he threw.
Yeah, man. Attention to detail.
Yeah. Alright, well, I guess that's about all we have to say about this episode, so, letter grades. Connor.
I would give it a C+.
Okay. Everest, should I go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a B-.
Oh my god, Brayden!
Hey, you can't say I coffeed you on this one.
Well, okay, fine. But if I went first, I would have said B-, which is my grade. I hate you.
As Connor said last week, it wasn't recorded, so people don't know this, but we're on the same Batman wavelength, okay?
Yeah.
I think you guys just gotta stop, like, copying each other's notes and stuff.
You're just stealing all my notes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we've only given 2 episodes different grades.
Yeah, and that was by, like, half a grade.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on to Two-Face. This is one of the most iconic episodes of the show. The first 2-parter, Harvey Dent finally becomes Two-Face. One of the most prominent villains in Batman the Animated Series. And I don't really want to synopsize this since it's a 2-parter and it's a lot to synopsize. So let's just talk about the episode. Connor, what do you think?
Oh boy. Yeah, it was good to see Harvey Dent finally become Two-Face. Him along with Riddler are probably my 2 favorite Batman villains. I don't like the design they gave him, but I understand why they gave him that design. Like, I knew he looked like this. I've known for a long time that this is what he looked like in the animated series, but it just looks so odd. it's like the monster half of him doesn't suit the human side, and it just makes it look a little bit off. But I get it, and they didn't want to make it look too realistic because it's a kids show and all that. You can't have somebody with half their body blown off looking realistic in a kids cartoon. But I just think that I could have looked less monstery to make it easier to, I don't know, just watch, I guess. But I still liked it. It was good seeing the two personalities of Harvey. It was kind of cool that, or well, I don't know. I don't think it was cool that they did this, but they didn't really build up Harvey being unhinged. I thought in the prior episodes we saw him in, he seemed pretty fine. Like there was nothing really weird about him. But then in this episode, it's like, oh, this whole time he's just had two sides to him. One side's unhinged, one part's not. I thought maybe that could have been built up more. I just kind of like the Dark Knight take where it just takes one bad day to set him off. He hasn't been like this the whole time. It just takes something bad to happen to him to really throw him into a loop. But yeah, there was great writing. I thought all the dialogue was really good. I can't really remember any of the lines, but I just remembered like hearing some of the things people would say. And I'm like, that's a really good line. But yeah, it's two-parter, so it obviously had a lot more time with it than the other episodes. But it was enjoyable.
Yeah, I think the design of Two-Face actually, I think it starts to fit more as the show goes on. Because I noticed that too. I'm like, man, that design looks weird, and I don't remember it looking that weird.
Yeah.
So, okay, Everest, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree. Like, the design, I thought it looked, like, kind of almost, like, plasticky on the, like, monster side of it. And, I don't know, I do think it looks like you start to kind of get it more as it goes on. But anyways, I love this two-parter so much. I mean, it's so iconic, and they had the time to set Harvey Dent up to become Two-Face so well, and they executed it, I think, perfectly. I mean, these two episodes are emotional, man, with, you know, at first Harvey proposing, I think, right, to his girlfriend, who then becomes his fiance, and
yeah, I want to know the timeline of this, because he was just with Pamela, like, I don't know how long ago, because we don't know the actual timeline.
Yeah, so, I don't know. But anyways, with him becoming this monster, and then, is her name Grace?
Yeah,
is that
Grace?
Okay, Grace, like, still loving him, and still wanting to help him, and, you know, thinking she's calling the police or whatever, but it's actually Rupert Thorne's, like, team. And I just thought that whole side of it was great. This origin story, man, is, like, so well done. And I love in the first part when he's, like, sitting in that room and it's a storm and the lightning strikes and you see Two-Face.
That is one of the most iconic shots in the show.
Yeah, I love that shot. Like, that is amazing. And, you know, if you're watching it for the first time, I feel like you could miss it. But, these two episodes are so good, man. Like, everything about it, the dialogue is great.
Yeah, I've seen this episode I don't know how many times, and every time they do that lightning reveal, I think it's, like, super fast, but they actually, like, pan in on Two-Face for, like, a good few seconds. I'm like, oh, I thought it was just, like, a flash, and then the episode was over. But, like, you see his face for quite a bit. And to be fair, the unhinged thing, like, the only episode he had prior to this was really, I mean, we saw him in the pilot, but he only said one line. And then the only other episode we saw him in that he was really at the forefront of was Pretty Poison, and he was under the influence of Ivy's toxin. So.
My issue with that is if this was the first episode he was in, I wouldn't notice it because it's the first time we would be seeing Harvey in this iteration of his character, so it would be easy to kind of be like, okay, well, we didn't see him before this, so maybe he was unhinged the whole time, we just didn't see it. But the fact that we did see him in prior episodes with absolutely nothing, even if it was only one episode, like, he seemed pretty sane in that episode, so it just is a little bit too... It's too coincidental for me.
I mean, no one talking about marriage is sane, so... At least it was only like a week. I know that was a toxin, but dang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of part 2, when you see Bruce kind of reflecting on Harvey becoming Two-Face, and he's also kind of drawing the parallel of his parents' death, like he felt them both. That's just sad, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love that so much.
I like those scenes of Bruce like being emotional about people in his life because it's not something you get to see much.
It's really good, and it shows he cares about people truly.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
and it's when like a lot of times we get this like he is only doing it for his parents and to like make sure it never happens, and that is true. But we also see that he has this side that genuinely wants to help people.
Yeah, and when he's going after Two-Face, I think it's like when he's going after him at the end of part 2, and he tells Alfred, like, I feel like my old friend may still be in there. Like,
yeah.
Oh. And he is still in there, so.
It's like, it's nice. We don't get to see Bruce have friends much, and when he does, they get turned into psychopaths. Sucks.
Yeah, in the final fight, my pet peeve with this episode is when Batman confronts Two-Face for the first time, and Two-Face just, like, hits him in the hallway. Batman falls, like, over a janitor's cart thing or whatever, and that just knocks him unconscious for hours.
They kind of did that in The Forgotten as well.
I'm like, that's Batman, come on, that would not take him out of commission for that long.
Yeah.
Kind of like that's something that happened in The Forgotten too. He just got hit and it somehow, knocked him out. But whatever, it's animation, I guess. They only have so much time to tell their story, so. I mean, I feel like they could have found a better way, but that's just nitpicking. And then the final fight, I just like how Candace, that's I don't know if they said her name. That's Rupert Thorne's like head girl, the one that gave Grace the device. She's just like smiling while everyone's fighting, like Batman.
I hated her.
Yeah.
I was like, Batman, please, like, arrest her.
I can tell you for sure we'll be seeing her again. I can only think of one episode she's in for sure. She's probably in more, I don't know. Because Rupert Thorne's in quite a bit of the show.
I don't like her.
And I actually forgot this was Thorne's introduction episode. I thought he was in an episode before this.
Wait, wasn't he in an episode before this?
I don't think he was. Was he? I don't remember him.
I could have sworn he was in one.
Because he's going to be in the next episode.
Maybe it was a different fat evil guy, but I don't know.
Are you thinking of Boss Biggest? You can't be thinking of him, can you?
No, I'm not, but...
Are you thinking of the Sewer King?
No.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's favorite Batman villain.
Okay, one more thing.
I don't know. I thought we saw Thorne in one episode. It wasn't the Sewer King, Brayden. So.
I don't remember seeing him, but... Okay, one more thing I want to bring up about Two-Face is after Batman brings him down when he, he brings him down with all the coins, and we see that in everything now. I wonder if this was the first thing that did it. Doubt it. I'm sure
it might have been. If it is, then that's great. Like, if this is the first thing that really did it, at least in, like, entertainment media, like, outside of the comics,
I think it was the first thing that did it outside of the comics, definitely. Because Two-Face wasn't even in Batman 66.
Yeah. He was in Batman, but he wasn't Two-Face yet. The 89 movie.
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
There's so much stuff that has happened in the show, and I just think of Batman Forever. Like, the coin thing, Batman Forever does that. Every time Batman sticks his thumb up, I think of Batman Forever when he's in the plane and he gives the thumb up to GCPD.
Yeah.
Okay, but the very end when Batman throws the coin in the well, I thought that was a pretty good ending to a very emotional episode.
I loved that. That was a perfect ending for this two-parter. Yeah. Tie everything together really well.
Yeah, it's so good. Alright, you guys want to go ahead and give it letter grades?
Sure. The perfect episode, B-.
Well, I want to do the honors of giving the first A+.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, dude, I love it.
An A+?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And, Brayden, we need to stop, dude. Yeah, A+, man.
Plus.
It's so iconic. It's so good.
Wow.
So well written. Sure, it's not like
There are
completely
better
perfect,
episodes of the show. It's not perfect, but it's close to it.
It's an A+. Like, it's close to perfect. I was gonna give it an A, but no. This is an A+ episode.
It's a great
Wow.
origin.
Oh, yeah.
Plus?
Yeah, A+, Connor.
Hey.
Yeah, Connor?
Now I look all
Nah,
negative
bro.
Nancy over here.
I'm not gonna do a synopsis of It's Never Too Late because a lot of surprising stuff happens in this episode. A lot of turns are taken. So if you haven't seen the episode, I recommend you go check it out because we're about to spoil the heck out of it. Connor, what did you think of the episode?
So yeah, no, it's never too late. It was an interesting little episode. Thing is though that mob related stuff, which is kind of the biggest part of this episode, it was alright. Mob stuff isn't really my favorite stuff when it comes to superheroes. Like, it's my least favorite part of the Spider-Man game. It's my least favorite part of early Flash. It's my least favorite part of Gotham. All that sort of stuff. So this was not my favorite episode. I'll just kind of say that. It was fun seeing Bruce being Bruce again when he's just like being a detective and all that. There's one thing I think the show is nailing so well is showing Bruce being a detective. Because not many other interpretations of the character do a good job at that. But yeah, the ending was interesting. It was kind of more serious and darker than a lot of what we've already seen in the show, which was fun. But yeah.
This episode really shocked me the first time I watched it. And could actually, like, understand what was happening. Because there are so many mature themes, and then just, like, all the turns it takes, because you kind of think in the flashbacks how it keeps cutting to the train. He's obviously traumatized in some way. What was his name? I already forgot his name. I'm stupid.
Arnie?
Yeah, Arnie.
Or Michael?
It was Arnie.
Michael was his younger brother, and then
What was his last name?
Arnie was the actual.
Arnie something.
Stromwell. No, that's the other
Stromwell.
one.
Yeah, Stromwell.
Stromwell.
Yeah, he's obviously traumatized by trains in some way, and it keeps cutting to the flashbacks between him and Michael. And we don't even learn they're brothers until the end. And so
yeah, that was interesting.
It keeps leading you to, I guess, think... This is what I thought when I initially watched it, at least, that the brother died, but you find out that he was the priest all along.
Yeah, that was cool twist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they do a really good job of kind of showing that relationship, but not giving it away, because Batman goes and visits the priest, but you kind of just think it's to help Stromwell, because like Batman still sees good within him, even though because all he really does is deal drugs. He doesn't really do too much. I mean, organized crime and stuff. He's not like rotten scum like Joker or something that just kills and all that. So like Batman can still see the good with him and thinks he can be saved. So that was really cool. Okay, Everest, what do you think?
I think this is a really good episode, a very deep episode. So many mature themes running throughout it, and they did it well to the point where it could definitely just kind of brush over like a younger kid watching it, and they would just be like, oh, there's an evil guy that Batman has to stop. This is a little bit of a boring episode, but as you grow older and you watch it, you see the different layers to this episode, and they really went in depth, and I think it's great. I also want to point out how this episode shows not everyone in Gotham believes Batman exists yet, because there's that one guy who's like, wow, I thought he was just a myth or whatever. I thought...
What I took away from this episode is, like, this was the first major step of Batman becoming Gotham's savior, because, like, he's kind of opposed to the public now, instead of just, like, GCPD and just a select few people.
Yeah, and I thought that was pretty dang cool, and everything from, Arnie's son dealing with drugs to Arnie eventually turning himself in with the help of his younger brother, and that whole train scene, there's a lot of stuff in here that you really have to look at and understand, and once you piece it all together and look at it, I think it really is quite an interesting episode and a pretty great episode. If I had to take anything away, it would be that there's not one like insane standout moment really that like after you go through everything you'll be like, that was amazing, but there's just all these little things that make you think, and I really enjoyed watching this episode and really kind of diving into everything in here, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, my first viewing of this episode, I was pretty young and didn't understand what was going on at all, so I thought it was just a boring episode. Then when I rewatched it when I was older, and just still when I rewatch it, it still kind of amazes me that this is a kids show with an episode entirely based around drug addiction.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get away with that? It's just amazing.
I have no idea, but they did. Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Because that's such an adult theme, and like this is such a great social commentary on a very real world problem.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something this show does great as social commentaries, because like they are real world problems being showcased in this animated show, and they do it pretty well. And just showing how his son got hooked off of the drugs he was dealing, and how the kid's mom was like, I left you, Arnie, to get away from this, but your son wasn't so lucky. It's like, if you have any connection to drugs, it can just lead back to you.
Yeah.
They do a good job at like dressing it up as well, so that it still feels like a kids episode in a way. The way that, like both you and Everest were saying that you didn't really realize what the real story of the episode was until you were older. It's like they do a good job at making it so that kids can enjoy the episode without getting caught up in all that seriousness. But then when you're older, you still see the seriousness, and it makes the episode that much deeper for you.
And the other thing I want to point out, that like that line from Arnie's brother towards the end hit so hard.
Like the whole fallen empire, like
yeah,
son,
an empire
that.
Crumbling, a marriage shattered, son lost. You're doing fine.
Dude, that's heartbreaking. Like the way he delivered it didn't sound that heartbreaking, but when you like actually think about the words he said, that's just
like that hit so hard.
And like Arnie doesn't even realize like everything he's lost until that.
Mm-hmm.
And how
and that was when he was like, okay, I gotta shut this down.
Yeah, when GCPD gets there, he's like, Commissioner Gordon, I have a statement to give you. So like that good Batman saw with him kind of comes to fruition right there.
Mm-hmm.
And we learned that Michael like lost his leg because it kind of built it up to where you thought he died, but he lost a leg.
Yeah.
I remember that just being shocking, like, on my first viewing, like, what? The priest is his brother? Alright, so, let's go ahead and give this some letter grades. Connor.
I give it a C. It was a good episode, it just wasn't my kind of thing.
Wow.
Everest?
I'm gonna give it an A-. I mean, just like such a deep episode. I really like this episode.
Okay, something else I forgot to mention real quick is how at the beginning it sets up the whole mobster war between Thorne and Stromwell, and like the drugs are there. Like it mentions that Stromwell's been dealing drugs, and that his son is missing. But like he thinks his son is missing because Thorne took him. But then we learn that his son is at a clinic because he's hooked on drugs. So like,
yeah.
Just so many turns throughout this episode. I love it. I'm gonna give it an A. Solid A.
Fair.
Love the episode.
Yeah.
Alright, let's go on to the next episode. I've got Batman in my basement. Let's just talk about it. Connor, what do you think?
Alright, so I was excited for this episode for a couple of reasons. One being it was the first, I knew it was the first episode with Penguin, so a new Batman villain, an iconic Batman villain. I was hyped to see him, and just the reputation this episode had me go, this is going to be a fun episode. So I thought it was going to be stupid and dumb, but in a fun way. But no, it was stupid and dumb in a stupid way that just didn't. Like, I kept kind of thinking, this could have been funny, but it's just annoying the way that they make Batman look so dumb and have to be saved by kids. And just the way Penguin was, like, this has got to be my least favorite interpretation of Penguin maybe ever. Like, it was just one episode.
He gets better. Okay.
Just nothing about him was, like, as good as the Danny DeVito version or the Gotham version. I was like, this is Penguin, I guess. And then, like, we get that shot of him just sitting on top of the Batmobile, hitting it with his umbrella. Like, why is he doing this? He was just such a weird character. It's such a weird thing. Like, I know Penguin's supposed to be weird, but it was just really weird. Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to describe it. But yeah, they didn't have to make Batman look as dumb as he was to showcase the kids. They could have easily done a good job at showcasing the kids without making Batman look like an complete idiot. I did like how the, like, bullies, I guess, weren't complete bullies. They weren't, you know, those people you see in stuff like this where they're absolutely horrible and, like, you can't wait for them to get beaten up by the protagonist or whatever. No, they were still pretty okay people. They just were kind of mean sometimes. But it was good that they didn't go, like, full in with the whole bully angle.
They weren't like Stranger Things bullies.
Yeah, exactly.
Pulling switchblades and
completely over the top.
Off cliffs.
Yeah, it was just stupid bad. It was weird.
Yeah, the opening of this episode, I was like, oh, maybe this episode isn't as bad as I remember. But then, like, once the Vulture started attacking Batman, I'm like, okay, this has already gotten ridiculous. Because it just opens like a standard episode, you know, they're just stealing a Fabergé egg. I'm like, okay, this isn't bad. Yeah. And then just the Vulture takes out Batman. I'm like, I mean, birds are pretty ruthless, but that's Batman. And how Batman just drops the Batarang like he does, I'm like, what was that?
If Batman has shark spray repellent, I'm pretty sure he has bird spray repellent. So, could have showcased that.
The animation looked so off in this episode, like just throughout.
Yeah, it did.
Just
one of the weaker animation episodes.
Yeah, movements and everything. It's like, this just doesn't look right. Right, Everest, you got any thoughts?
I can't add a whole lot to what Connor said, to be honest. I went into this episode trying to have a very open mind because I was like, maybe I can find some fun in this. But I just kept pointing out things that were stupid. And maybe I had, like, some enjoyment here and there, and I agree with the bullies thing. Like, it was good that they didn't make them just horrible, unrealistic people. But overall, Batman looks so stupid in this episode. We don't really get a lot of what they had been nailing with Batman in the other episodes in this one. And the kids, like, I get that they wanted to showcase them, but they just made them seem really, like, I don't know, unrealistic to me. And the whole thing with Penguin being introduced, and it's just such a weird, dumb episode. And Penguin, he is a weird character, but he just felt really off in this one. And again, he gets better later on, but I just don't think this was the right move on really any front for the series. And looking back, it's a memorable episode because of how bad and dumb it is, but I don't know. It's all pretty, like, just wacky in the worst way.
Yeah, it's like, up until now, all of the episodes, while it's obvious a lot of them are made for kids, it's still kind of like kids episodes that can be fun for adults as well most of the time. But this was the first episode that was just like, I felt straight up was made just for kids. Like, there wasn't really anything there for, like, older people to kind of latch onto and be like, hey, this is fun.
Mm-hmm.
I did have more fun watching this episode and finding stupid shit throughout the episode than I did watching the Underdwellers. So I
will agree on that.
Yeah,
I will agree with that statement. It was almost fun finding just stupid crap that made no sense, because the Underdwellers, it's just, like, just bad, but this one's stupid, and that you can kind of, have a tiny bit of fun looking for that.
And the Penguin wasn't good, but he's better than the Sewer King. And it's the Penguin, so you got an actual rogue there. I think this episode is like the writers were just thinking, what if we mix Home Alone with Batman? And that's just a terrible idea. Those two things don't go together.
Yes, Home Alone was all I was thinking.
Dude, as soon as the Penguin breaks in and they start, like, the one dude opens the closet or whatever he opened and just trips over the wire, I'm like, oh, this is so Home Alone. And what did they even throw down the stairs that did nothing to the Penguin? It, like, tied him up and then he just cut it. I'm like, you know who the Penguin is. Shouldn't you know about his trick umbrella?
Yeah, he's
like, that's kind of
dangerous guy.
It's kind of what he's known for. And I want to point out, this kid, every time it cut to his basement, the only poster you saw was of the Joker. Who has a poster of the Joker?
Why do they make posters of the Joker?
Like, I would have a poster
like, why?
I would have a poster of the Joker, but if the Joker was a real person, hell to the no, I would not have a poster.
To the no, dude, why?
It's the same way that in the Flash, in Jitters, you can buy Zoom-related coffees and stuff. It's like, why would they make things for serial killer supervillains?
It makes no sense. It's like, why? Why would
I get he's supposed to be a detective, but it makes zero sense to... I don't know.
And that's a good point, Connor. Why would you even make it? Like, oh, there's this murderous clown, he's a serial killer, he's kidnapped multiple people.
This is great for advertisement.
Gotham's population has plummeted since he's appeared, but we're gonna make posters of him.
We're gonna make a real cash-in off of this.
He's the scariest person in the history of the world. Let's make a poster of him.
Let's make posters of him.
That seems like something J. Jonah Jameson would do.
Yeah.
That's such a J.
like
Jonah Jameson move. Okay.
I want pictures of Joker.
I just had to point that out because it kept cutting to it and it always had that Joker poster. I'm like, okay, where are the other posters? I'm like, oh, there are no other posters. Like, you don't even have a poster of Batman.
Batman could have woke up delirious and thought he was a Joker.
Your literal idol, you don't have a poster of him. You have a poster of his worst enemy, who's a serial killer supervillain. Why would they even... How do you have this? Does your mom never come down in the basement and be like, hey, why do you have a poster of a serial killer on your wall?
It's just a new look for the Jekyll the Clown.
If the Joker existed in the world and I just saw a poster of him, I'd be like, get rid of that. I don't want it. I don't want to see it. That'd be terrifying. Especially knowing your son has it. Like, why? Okay, I just had to bring that up. Letter grades, Connor.
I'd give it a strong D.
Okay, strong D.
Yeah, strong. Yes.
Everest.
Ooh, this is tough. I really... This episode's so stupid, but in the fact it's kind of fun, I'm gonna give it a D+. I still don't like it at all, but...
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a D+ too. Like, it's not a good episode, but I honestly had fun just finding all the stupid stuff.
Yeah, it is fun.
And, like, every time I saw the scene when they were breaking into the house, like, I just kept having flashes to Home Alone. I'm like, okay. Like, this is terrible, but I want to watch Home Alone now. It made me want to watch Home Alone.
Maybe this was just advertising for Home Alone.
But...
Yo, sponsorship?
I wish.
Yeah.
Connor, what did you think of Heart of Ice?
Heart of Ice was a pretty damn good episode, I'm not gonna lie. I've been hearing about this episode for a while. It is probably the most iconic episode of the entire show, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is the one that, like, years and years and years ago, I've constantly seen memes of this episode and, like, hearing about it and all that. The weapon thing that, like, the start of the episode was, like, around all that looked like a huge telescope. That was pretty funny. Freeze's voice is really cool. He kind of sounds like Arnim Zola from Winter Soldier when he's in the computer bit. I liked how Batman saved the thug and all that. The whole, like, people getting colds was really interesting because, of course, that would happen if Mr. Freeze is just going around making it winter all the time in Gotham City. Of course, people are going to get colds. That's something like Arkham City, and that doesn't show enough, is people getting colds. So I'm happy this episode did that. and then Alfred making Bruce some chicken soup, like a good fatherly figure as he would.
What is this,
and
knockout gas? Chicken noodle soup.
It was great. And then we learned about Nora, obviously Victor's wife and all that, who's a huge part of his character. She's, the reason behind why he does everything, so it was cool that this episode relied so much on that. I was happy to see him use this cold gun on first boil, because that guy was annoying me. And, it was good how Bruce was showing compassion towards Victor, like he wasn't just going to take him down like he was any other villain. He really, felt for him. It was a smart way how he was defeated. It wasn't just a random, he chose a batarang into his face or something. It was a sad ending, but I liked it a lot.
Okay, Boyle, did you recognize his voice?
I don't think I did.
Okay, it's Mark Hamill.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, actually.
When you know it's Mark Hamill, you can really hear Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
I'll need to go back and rewatch that now.
Yeah, it was actually the first episode he voiced in, because he wasn't Joker before that. But he went back
that's cool.
He went back and revoiced.
I knew it, but I knew that, but I forgot, so it was cool. I was like, wait a minute. Hold on. That's my boy.
Yeah, he wanted to be part of the show, and he got that role, and then they decided to recast Joker, and they called him.
They were like, yo, this guy's really fucking good. Put him as Joker.
Poor Tim
like,
Curry,
hey, you know who Ferris Boyle is? No? Well, you're gonna. It's Mark Hamill.
Poor Tim Curry, though. He was the Joker.
Oh, yeah.
For 3 episodes. Then they never called him back.
1992 to 1992.
Yep. Okay, Everest, what do you think?
I mean, this is, probably my favorite episode of the entire series. I think, obviously it probably is the most iconic, but it's also just such a well-made episode. And the fact that before this, Mr. Freeze was literally seen as a joke. He was possibly, D-list, C-list Batman villain. And to take him and put him in this episode and instantly kind of skyrocket him to, holy... damn, this guy is a great villain. And I thought that was insane to do it in 22 minutes, because you really do feel for Victor, and it does that so well by setting up his story with his wife. You're kind of just flip-flopping back and forth. You want Victor to be happy, but also he's got a cold gun and he's shooting a bunch of people. And that duality with him I thought was really neat. And like Connor said, I love how Batman, he's not just trying to take him down. He actually cares about Victor and his wife. And this episode it's really quite brilliant. And I've always loved it, and just rewatching it, I was like, yep, still a freaking amazing episode, so.
Yeah, the episode really reinvented the character of Mr. Freeze and made him just one of the best Batman villains of all time. And before that, he was a C-lister at best. So,
yeah,
it's obvious why this episode is so iconic. It's probably the most iconic episode in the entire DCAU, honestly. Because it just
I agree with that.
It just did so much for the world of Batman, just reinventing that one character, because it brought a completely different element to his character with Nora and all that. Because she's this show made her a character.
Yeah.
And yeah, Mr. Freeze has some great lines in this. He does a lot of ice puns, actually, but they're actually good. Puns work if you have good writing around them.
Yeah. But Brayden, what killed the dinosaurs?
Oh my god. It wasn't the Ice Age. It was a freaking meteor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Freeze be dumb, man.
Well, not this Mr. Freeze.
He's a genius.
I never said this, Mr. Freeze. Chill
He
out.
was talking about the Ice Age movies.
Gonna need you to get all the way off my back, bro.
This has turned into the Ice Pun episode of the DCAU Rewatch. And I also like how Mr. Freeze is one of those few Batman villains that acknowledges Batman's detective work and all that, and he actually respects Batman. He's probably the only one other than Ra's al Ghul that I can think of that really shows him respect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was cool. I did like that.
Yeah, I really like that.
Mhm.
And the ending is so sad.
Oh yeah.
But
My
it's
heart
so
just, like,
perfect
kinda
at the same
breaks.
time.
Yeah, it's a very smart way to end it. Like they could have went happy ending with Batman beating the villain and all that, but no, they went an interesting way with it.
Yeah, I think that shot of Batman looking into the his cell in Arkham when he's standing on the rooftop is probably one of the most iconic shots in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just shows like everything about this episode and why it's so great. In that kind of just one shot, you can see yeah.
They do that a lot in this show where the episodes end showing us the villains in their cell, which is a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, that one showing Batman there though, it kind of shows that he really does care about trying to get these villains rehabilitated and everything.
Yeah, he doesn't just want to keep he wants them to actually,
because he thinks
better.
anyone can be saved. He doesn't think anyone's past saving, even someone like the Joker.
Yeah.
Even though he's beyond that, but yeah, Ferris Boyle may be the biggest asshole we've met though in the show so far.
Yeah, I didn't like him at all.
I hated him.
It's always the corrupt businessman that just suck more than anyone. It's you're worse than the Joker.
Yeah, actually leave. At least,
So you're the real Batman villain.
At least the Joker is entertaining. Okay?
Yeah, at least the Joker's
Yeah,
insane. He's mentally unstable. This guy's just a dickhead. Okay, anyway, let's go ahead and give it some letter grades. Everest, you go first. We'll save Connor for last. Because I'm pretty sure I know what we're giving it.
I mean, you gotta go with the A+. Come on.
Yeah, A+, definitely. Christmas Story A+, if I could do that, but... Okay, Connor, moment of truth.
No, I wouldn't give it an A+. I'd give it an A. Yeah.
Connor, we're gonna get hate comments.
Connor! I mean,
I'm sorry.
You're just kidding though, right? You're actually
Yeah,
A+.
this
Just
is...
between us.
Sure. Not really.
Oh, frick.
Okay, well, Connor's never gonna give an episode of the show an A+, probably, but let's move on to the next
Hey man,
episode.
if it's an A+, it's gotta be absolutely perfect.
Okay, whatever, Connor.
Perfectest.
Okay. Maybe you'll give something an A+ down the line. Anyway, let's go on to the next episode, The Cat and the Claw.
Ooh.
So,
Ooh.
Connor, what do you think of this two-parter?
It was good to see Catwoman, I guess, but I don't know. They could have a way better way to introduce her. I think it was weird because they gave her the weird 1940s Catwoman look as well. It wasn't even the more modernish version. It was the very weird kind of thing.
Gray.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the gray costume.
Nah, I don't like the costume at all.
It's just not very nice. Compared to the Catwoman costumes that came way later in animation and just in live action stuff, this one is definitely not very good. They weren't doing a good job of making me like Catwoman. She was very much a straight up villain in this, not a lot like the anti-villain kind of stuff that she is later on in Batman related things. And then she had cat rings or something.
What are those called?
Shoot.
Catarangs?
Calatrops or whatever?
Yeah, maybe.
Like the thing she put in the vent?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but it was something weird like that.
I think they're called calatrops or something. Kind of like tacks, but a lot sharper and bigger.
Yeah.
They're kind of like tacks, but no, they're not.
Like tacks, but...
They're almost like ninja throwing stars, like shurikens that you just throw on the ground.
Yeah, they looked a lot, actually.
Yeah. Alright, is that all you have to say about this, Connor?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my god. That's all Connor has to say about a two-part episode. Okay, Everest, what do you think? You didn't even mention Red Claw, Connor.
Oh, yeah. That was a plot point, wasn't it?
What?
That was a plot point, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a plot point. It was a pretty big plot point.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't have that much to say either. I have always liked Batman and Catwoman personally, but I mean it definitely isn't the best representation of that. I think this is a good two-parter, but I definitely wouldn't say it's on par with some of the other two-parters down the line, and I do like seeing like Batman and Catwoman in that, but again, the costume is kind of weird, and I just feel like they didn't portray Catwoman as well as they could have. I think I used to like this episode a bit more, but rewatching it, like it's good, but it's not like anything special for me. And yeah, I mean, besides, I don't even know what else to say. It's just kind of there.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
This episode kind of made me want to go watch Batman Returns. Just because of the Batman and Catwoman. Like, do you remember the scene on the rooftop when, I forgot what Catwoman says. She says something, or Batman says something, and she, like, turns away, and Batman goes up to her, "I'm sorry," and then she, like, hits him. Just like in Batman Returns. I'm like, man, I want to go watch this. I want to go watch that movie. It's better than this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I think the more I rewatch this episode, the less I like it. Because I remember liking it quite a bit the first time I saw it, and then, like, just each time, I'm like, it's not a very good episode, is it? It's just, I don't think 2 parts were necessary. Because there is a lot of filler.
Like, I don't get why we needed 2 episodes for it.
There's so much filler, and it's more a Catwoman episode than it's a Batman episode, and, I mean, that's fine, because, I mean, the show's for Batman, so dedicating an episode or 2 to one villain is fine, but... Yeah, Red Claw was a crappy villain.
Oh yeah.
No wonder she didn't make her way into the comics. And I don't know, like, it was weird. Like, you could tell it was like, if this was made today, they wouldn't make such a big deal about Red Claw being a woman. It's like, yeah, she's a terrorist and she's a woman. What? So what?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were pushing that way.
Yeah, like, why are you making such a big deal that she's a woman?
It was on the nose a bit, like.
And as soon as Batman sees her, he's like, "Red Claw, a woman?" He's like, "Yeah, do you have a problem with that?" And he's like, "No, I'm an equal opportunity crime fighter." I mean, I guess I have Batman's response to that, but, you know.
I did write down equal opportunity crime fighter, and I couldn't remember why, so I didn't bother mentioning it, but it's obviously that comment.
I kind of wish he would have just punched her instead of saying anything, though, but... Oh no, there's times where Batman being, like, snarky works, but other times where it'd just be better if he used his actions instead of his words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dialogue was kind of clunky, like, in both episodes. And
yeah, I felt like that too.
I've never really loved Catwoman as a character, and this is probably one of... I don't really like this version. She's one of the few villains I don't care for in Batman the Animated Series. I mean, I think she's...
There's like nothing really done her justice yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think... Yeah, she's in a lot of not good episodes, honestly.
She is, isn't she? Oh,
yeah, this might be one of her better episodes, which is saying something. She's in some stinkers, Connor.
Oh.
She's in a couple... She's in one really good one. She doesn't have a massive role in that episode, though.
Is it this one?
No. Yeah, she didn't have a massive role in this episode.
This was more Red Claw-centric than Catwoman-centric, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Red Claw wasn't even in the first part, was she, until, like, the end?
Hey, this is the Red Claw episode. This is called The Red Cat, or the Cat and the Red Claw, right? I just realized the Claw already references her, so never mind.
Might have well has been. Oh yeah, Red Claw gets taken down by, like, a panther or whatever. Jaguar, I don't know.
Oh yeah, what was that?
I don't know what kind of cat that was.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah. I think
they're like, hey, we need this villain to be defeated.
Was Catwoman, like,
cat.
I don't know.
So,
didn't Catwoman, like, talk to it earlier on in the episode or something?
I don't know.
I don't remember, honestly. I watched this, like, an hour ago.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's forgettable. It's not a very good episode.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad.
I don't either, but I think it's one of the weaker introductions episodes for a villain, and part of that's probably because it's 2 parts and it just feels like it takes forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus if they're going to give a 2-parter to a villain, I wouldn't choose Catwoman as one to give it to.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I don't know why they gave her a 2-parter.
Mm-hmm. Because, like, Catwoman's a very small-scale, like, kind of villain. She can be done very, very well in, like, these small little things, but, like, yeah.
See, the thing is, Catwoman's at her best when she's, like, working with Batman, I think.
Yeah, it depends. Some things can make her an anti-hero well, like where she's pitted against Batman.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think Batman Returns does it best, honestly. I love that movie. Okay, let's go ahead and give this some letter grades. Like, the episode focused around the Catwoman-Batman dynamic, but I just think it's been done better in so many things.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the DCAU usually doesn't get trumped by a lot of things, and it got trumped by a lot in that aspect. Okay, so Connor, what would you give this episode?
C for Catwoman.
Okay, nice. Everest, what about you?
No, you go first, Brayden.
Okay, well, I'm gonna agree with Connor, a C.
Hey.
Oh man, Connor, if you'd have just given Heart of Ice an A+, we could have all had the exact same letter grade for the whole
Hey, don't
episode.
put this on me. Heart of Ice got what it deserved.
I'm giving it a C.
No, it didn't, Connor. Connor, if you're not fired yet, but
Yeah.
I'm getting close. I know I am. Like here.
I mean, if you would have stuck it a minus on that A, I don't
yeah,
know,
you would be fired.
Brayden and I might have been going duo squads for the
Just re-record the first, like, 5 episodes just without me.
Yeah, like, we're restarting the series without Connor.
Connor got fired. He gave Heart of Ice an A- and Two-Face a B-.
Like, he had an accident that removed him from the videos.
I'm more okay with you giving Two-Face a B- than Heart of Ice an A, but anyway.
I give that a B-?
Yes!
Oh, I did, didn't I? Ugh.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and jump into See No Evil. Connor, what did you think of the episode?
See No Evil was an interesting episode. It was, I like Lloyd Ventrix. He was a cool enough villain and whatnot. I was a little curious as if he was a character from the comics I just didn't recognize, but no, he was an original Batman the Animated Series character, and they seem to do that a lot, especially with, like, you know, Harley Quinn and Renee Montoya and stuff like that. They pretty cool. There was a cloak of invisibility, kind of like Harry Potter, which I thought was interesting. There was the invisible plot was it. I don't know if I liked it that much. It's kind of a plot that shows like this use a lot. Like it's very cliched, I guess, and tropey. But yeah, it was cool how Batman used the rain to beat him by, like, you know, seeing him because the rain was on him and all that. And I love the final line about him not being able to see him for 10 to 20 years. And it was an alright episode. The family stuff was good. The invisible stuff was meh. But yeah, overall, solid episode.
Some of the family stuff was weird. Like, this dude...
Yeah, it was weird.
He was kind of a creep. Like, at first, you're like, okay, this dude just wants to see his daughter. That's normal enough. It's kind of weird that he's sneaking into her room and pretending to be her imaginary friend or whatever. But, like, wanting to see your daughter, that's understandable. And then towards the end, when he takes her, it just gets really weird. It's like, you're coming with me whether you like it or not. It's like, dude, just because she's your daughter doesn't mean you can just kidnap her.
Yeah. I was pretty weirded out by it until we found out that he was her father. And I was like, okay, it's still a little weird, but it's not as weird.
Yeah, until he tries to kidnap her, then it gets weird.
Oh, yeah. Then it got weird again.
And Batman
It was
flying
slippery slope. I was like,
Batman flying on top of the invisible car.
oh, yeah.
It just drives by that one dude. He's like, I didn't know he could fly, too. It's like, well, he's only like 3 feet off the ground, but...
It's more like hovering.
Yeah. If that was his flying superpower, that'd be really lame.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I can fly.
The Gotham art.
I can fly, but I can only be like 4 feet off the ground.
It's like I can jump really high, and I guess I'm flying for those couple seconds where I jump.
Yeah, kind of like Superboy.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you can jump that far, it's pretty cool, though. It's better than flying 4 feet off the ground.
Oh yeah, for sure. If I could jump super high or just fly kind of off the ground, then I would choose jumping.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There wasn't a lot of issues I had with this episode, but it wasn't particularly interesting all the way through. Like, there were points where it was pretty interesting, points where it was really weird, and just points where it was kind of flat.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I wouldn't say this episode was terrible, but I wouldn't say anything kind of blew me away either.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, it's kind of better than I thought going in, because I've seen it a few times. I'm like, I remember the invisible stuff and all that, but I don't know. I didn't remember how weird the relationship with his daughter was.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't really know him. Because I don't know if he was convicted.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if he was convicted before she was born or like right after she was born, because she's pretty young. But
it seemed like he hadn't seen her in a while, but I got the impression he had seen her once or twice, probably just years and years ago.
Yeah, probably, because I don't know, how old did she look? About like 9, 10, something like that?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, so I don't know, maybe
like if we saw her when she was like a baby or like 2 or 3, then I could see why she wouldn't remember him at all.
Yeah. I think it had to be something like that, because all she said when he was trying to take her is that, my mom said you're a bad man, so, like, she doesn't really know anything about her father.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, it's understandable that he wants to see his daughter, but he kind of goes too far, of course. And, the end when, her mom walks in, and she's like, who are you talking to? And she's like, oh, it's just Batman.
Oh, yeah, I love that. I was like, I like how Batman's, like, one thing the show is doing very well that I'm loving is showing Batman's relationship with civilians and stuff like that. Like, he doesn't just save people from the darkness, he actually, reaches out to people, which I think is really nice.
Yeah, like, especially with kids and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, like, I swear, almost every episode ends with a shot of Batman.
Yeah, it does. It's like him just watching over people.
Yeah, and him just
protecting his city.
Turning away, and then the credits roll.
Because he's a watchful protector.
Yes, he's a Dark Knight.
Who?
Yeah, who? Okay, well, I don't really have much else to say about this episode, so you want to go ahead and give it some letter grades?
Yeah, okay. What would you give it?
Okay, I'm gonna give it a B-.
Oof. Same as me. B-.
Yeah. It's pretty good. Not amazing.
Yeah, it was solid.
Yeah. Like, I'd rewatch it.
Yeah, like, whenever I get around to rewatching the show, I'm not gonna, like, be not wanting to watch it at all.
Yeah, because, like, when I do go back and rewatch the series every now and then again, sometimes I do skip episodes because I just know they're awful. And yeah. I usually don't skip this one because I'm like, yeah, this one's pretty good. Especially for, like, a one-off villain, pretty solid episode. Yeah,
exactly. Like, for an original character, I was pretty impressed. But, especially since, it's got Gotham's famous supermarket, the Gothmart.
The Gothmark? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the supermarket that they had in it. That,
oh, yeah.
Was it Ventrix visits the mother at.
Yeah, that's where she works. She's like a cashier or something.
Yeah.
Alright. Next episode, Beware the Grey Ghost. We got Adam West voicing the Grey Ghost. What did you think of this episode?
That was a damn fine episode, I'm not gonna lie. It's just anything Adam West is always going to be at least enjoyable. But yeah, I really liked how the parallels of Bruce watching Grey Ghost as a child and then Grey Ghost during the present day with him as Batman and all that. It was like Grey Ghost was kind of the first vigilante stuff that Bruce was kind of introduced to, I guess, and that was really cool. I liked all that, and I liked how, at the start of it, Simon Trent, that was Grey Ghost's name, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked how, he started off not really wanting to help Batman, but as the time went on, he did start to work with Batman and stuff like that. The villain was kind of like Toyman from Superman, I thought.
I think his design is based on Bruce Timm.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. Do you know what Bruce Timm looks like?
I'm pretty sure I do if I saw him, yeah.
Yeah, he looks pretty similar to that, and I think I've heard somewhere before that they based the design on him. He might do the...
Okay.
I don't think he does the voice. I'm about to look this up. I wonder if he does do the voice, actually. Anyway, there's, like, a lot of commentary in this episode, actually. Like, there's kind of commentary on how, even though, well, in Batman, superheroes are real, but in the real world, superheroes aren't real, but, like, superheroes, like, superhero movies and shows and stuff like that, they can influence a kid's point of view. And,
yeah,
like,
definitely.
turn them into who they are when they grow up.
Yeah.
So, like, even though...
I thought it felt like a passing of the torch episode with, like, the Grey Ghost passing the vigilante torch on the Batman.
Yeah, and it's also kind of a commentary on Adam West's career, because, like, for a while, people didn't see him as anything but Batman. And
oh, yeah,
like,
exactly. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, because people consider Kevin Conroy the definitive Batman now in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to, like, one definitive Batman passing it on to another definitive Batman.
I don't know if Batman would be arguably the most popular superhero for as long as he has been if it wasn't for Adam West, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Because Adam West helped skyrocket the character, like...
Because he brought something so unique to the character. Like, I would still say he's the most unique Batman yet, out of all of the Batmans we've had.
Yeah, I think he's probably... I think he is the best live-action Batman, like, subjectively.
I haven't seen enough of the 66 show to say.
Like, he's not my favorite, but I do think he's the best. I think he balances Bruce Wayne and Batman the best.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, one thing that a lot of, like, the movies and stuff do, they don't really balance the dynamic that well.
Yeah. Okay, we're getting sidetracked.
Yeah.
Okay, what did you think of the Mad Bomber, though?
Yeah, interesting villain. I didn't love them because I loved the Grey Ghost stuff, and the villain was kind of just to help forward along the Grey Ghost plot. But I still thought it was a good villain.
Yeah, I think it was interesting how they were redoing crimes from the Grey Ghost. That was pretty interesting.
That's something that I've seen in some other superhero stuff as well, and I can't really remember what. Might have been Smallville.
Yeah, and this might be the first major, like, legacy casting, Adam West as the Mad Bomber. I can't recall any, like, legacy casting that was that big before.
Yeah.
Because there's, like, a lot of it now in the Arrowverse shows and stuff. Like, you see legacy casting all the time.
Yeah. That's something I think DC always does crazy well, the Marvel never really does.
Yeah, and they do good a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I also liked how Bruce revealed his identity to him at the end.
Oh, wait, maybe... Dude, Bruce Timm did voice the Mad Bomber.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's amazing. Yeah, I think the design is definitely based on him.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I love Batman's and Grey Ghost relationship throughout, and I love how Batman told him, like, I used to watch you as a kid with my father. You were my hero. And then, like,
I did like that.
When he goes to see him as Bruce and gets him to sign something, he's like, I used to watch you with my father. You were my hero. Says the exact same thing.
That might be my favorite scene from the whole show that I've seen yet.
It's amazing because it's like I idolize this guy so much. He's a big reason that I did become Batman.
Yeah.
Like, he's a big reason. He influenced my morals pretty much. It's pretty cool. All
yeah,
right.
I did really like that.
Anyway, so what would you give this episode?
A+.
Your first A+?
Yep,
oh,
sure is.
Oh, Connor!
It's Adam West. How can I not?
I'm so happy. I'm giving it an A+ too.
Oh,
I love
sweet.
this episode. I love it.
But yeah, this is definitely my favorite episode yet.
Dang, I'm glad you gave an episode of the show an A+. We at least got one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if we can get another A+ with Prophecy of Doom.
No Doomsday.
I wish. Okay, so what do you think of Prophecy of Doom?
Yeah, it was all right. I don't think it was very memorable. I thought
Yeah, I don't remember.
Nostramos, was that his name?
I think.
He looks a lot like Ra's al Ghul, I thought. I actually thought he was Ra's al Ghul to start, because his design was so similar, but then, I pretty quickly I was like, nope, that's not him.
I don't know
But,
what his, every time it showed a close-up or something, when I saw his eyelashes, I don't know who it made me think of, but I was like, he looks so familiar, to another villain or something. I don't think it was Ra's al Ghul that I was thinking, though. I don't know. But I did think he looked like someone else.
Yeah. It was an average episode. It was kind of like a basic setup. It just fill in, and then Batman takes him down. There wasn't really much depth to it, I thought.
Yeah.
But it was fine.
I can't even really say much about this episode because, there's not much memorable, nothing... Oh no, nothing really happens. It's just he's basically conning people for money. Because he's saying oh, don't do this or you'll die, basically, and then he makes accidents and stuff happen. Oh, I saved your life. And people
thank you, Batman.
Yeah, people were joining his brotherhood and stuff. Oh no,
it was pretty basic plot and setup and all that.
Yeah. I just don't know what to say about the episode. I don't think... I don't know. I don't think
if it was Ra's al Ghul, I would have liked it more.
Yeah, I don't think it was good, but I don't think it was awful. It's just kind of boring.
Yeah, exactly. It's I wouldn't want to rewatch it again, to be honest.
Yeah,
but
no.
It's not like I'm going to hate rewatching it.
This is one I usually skip.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's just... nothing happens. Alright, what would you give it?
I'd give it a C-.
C-? Oh.
Yeah.
I'll give it a D+.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't like it that much.
And yeah, that's,
it doesn't have
fair.
that many flaws throughout, it's just, a dull episode.
Yeah, exactly. It just, nothing really exciting happened. If they had one memorable scene, it would have been better for me, but no.
Yeah. There's a dude, he joins the Brotherhood, his daughter gets kidnapped because a dude wants money. He tries to kill Bruce Wayne, and Bruce Wayne doesn't die because he's Batman.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's moral of the story is Bruce doesn't die.
Right. So let's go ahead and jump into Feet of Clay. Connor, what did you think of this two-parter?
But wait, aren't you going to address how Everest has once again abandoned us?
Oh yeah, Everest is not here again. Because we're recording this the same day that we recorded the last episode.
Yeah. Two sessions he's missed.
Yep, 2 sessions.
Oh, JK, love you, Everest.
And he's missing.
But, yeah, this was a pretty interesting episode. The first Clayface in the animated universe, which was pretty cool. Iconic Batman villain. And they didn't even use the Basil Karlo version. They used Matt Hagen, and not Matt Daggett, as I found out a couple minutes ago. But, yeah, it was an interesting version. Oh, he does?
Yes, that's
Ron
what
you're talking about, Ron Perlman.
He's amazing.
Oh, wow. I need to rewatch that now and listen out for him.
He is so good. I think he's...
It's
I don't know. Clayface is one of my favorite villains so far.
He's an interesting villain. I did like him. I also like the whole acting part of it, and face cream kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And Daggett kept trying to kill my boy Lucius, which was really upsetting.
Yeah, I don't know why Lucius thought that was actually Bruce, but...
Yeah,
which
so
then again,
dumb.
they didn't know
Lucius,
about...
why were you meeting in this dark alley?
They didn't know about the stuff that could change your appearance.
Yeah. I think this is probably the episode that Lucius Fox had the most to do since we started watching.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I feel like he was in a lot of this episode.
Yeah, and before he showed up here and there, but he's not had that big of a role in any episode until now.
Yeah. But yeah, there's Summer Gleason was back as well. God damn, I hate her character so much.
Summer Gleason was back? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
She was. She was doing the reports on like Bruce Wayne's been arrested. Bruce Wayne is free of charge. The charges were dropped, obviously.
It's like Clayface.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, Ron Perlman's voice is just perfect for Clayface, I think.
Yeah, now that you mention it, it was actually pretty decent. I'm surprised I didn't realize that, because I love Ron Perlman.
Yeah, like, after he becomes Clayface, I don't know, his voice is just perfect for that character.
Yeah.
So,
It's like Hellboy and Clayface are the same character.
yeah, he's probably my favorite voice actor so far for a role, other than Kevin Conroy as Batman and Mark Hamill as the Joker.
Wow, you're gonna diss my boy Adam West like that?
Oh yeah, I love Adam West as Grey Ghost, but like, I meant reoccurring characters.
Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah. Adam West is perfect in anything he's in.
Oh yeah, he is. He can do anything.
Yeah, I really like Michael Ansara as Mr. Freeze too.
Yeah, that was good. I did like that robot-y kind of
Yeah,
voice that it was.
I like what they do with the voice. Okay, anyway, back to Feet of Clay. I think the shape-shifting animation they do is amazing, especially at the end with his quote-unquote death scene.
Oh yeah, they left that very ominous. I'm like, Clayface, he's gonna come back.
Yeah, that Thriller ending.
It's like, oh yeah.
It was literally a Thriller ending. Like, his eyes were glowing
he's
and
coming
everything. Oh yeah. Yeah, but I think the scene where he did fake his death, I think that may be the most beautiful animation we've seen so far.
Oh really?
Just how it keeps changing to like every character he's played.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool. That reminded me of that scene in The Flash where what was the guy's name in season 1?
Wait, what?
The end of season 1 of The Flash, there was that shapeshifter guy who kept like shapeshifting like Iris and Caitlin and all that.
Oh yeah, I have no idea who you're talking about.
Oh.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, I think the usage of Clayface's powers was really good throughout. And, well, they only did it in part 2 because he wasn't Clayface until the end of part 1.
Yeah.
And how they describe the shape-shifting, like how it's a muscle and stuff. So, at first he's not very good at it. Or,
yeah.
I mean, he's okay at it, but he can't maintain it for that long.
There's also kind of the first episode, except for the Two-Face one, that I thought actually deserved to be 2 parts.
This is oh yeah, because the Catwoman one's the only one in between.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought we did more than that.
No, this is the third 2-parter. I think this, honestly, I think I may have enjoyed this more than the Two-Face episode.
I don't think I did, but I think it was close.
I don't know. I don't know if it's a better episode, but I think I did enjoy it more.
I just prefer Harvey Dent over most Batman villains.
Yeah, I just love Ron Perlman as Clayface. I just liked listening to him every time he talked. Like, I was invested. I was like, oh, Clayface is talking. It's time to watch. And when Daggett is...
Like, Summer Gleason's back off screen.
When Daggett's trying to sell his cream or whatever, and Clayface is there, and he's like, why don't you tell them about me? And he just changes into Clayface. Everyone's like, oh my god. You
like, it's Ron Perlman.
You shouldn't buy this stuff.
That was a cool scene. I did like that.
Oh, the interrogation scene where Batman goes and gets that dude's car with the Batwing.
Oh yeah,
that was amazing. That might be my favorite. It probably is my favorite interrogation scene so far in the show, because I can't think of any more.
I guess that one from with the first episode of Renee Montoya, so it was kind of an interrogation scene.
I don't even remember it.
It was like the start of it with Bullock.
Oh yeah,
Renee and the other cop.
Yeah, I didn't remember that because Batman wasn't there, but I know what you're talking about. I meant with Batman.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that drop would have killed that dude. Did you see how far Batman was up when he dropped him in the pool? He's like.
Oh yeah.
He was like, "This'll wake you up." Drops him, and the camera pans down to show where he was, and he's like 200 feet above the pool.
Yeah, because isn't water like it's the further up you are, the harder it is.
Yes. So like, that's why like most diving boards and crap is only like, I think the max is like 12 feet or something for most of them.
Yeah.
At like public pools and crap anyway.
Like at the very least, he probably would have broken his legs.
Yeah. And when Clayface just skydives off that building when the cops are coming, and he splatters Batman's face, it's like, oh my god, he just killed himself.
It's like, you killed Clayface.
Yeah, and then they had to show that he wasn't dead. I feel like they have
when
fun.
Clayface comes back, is he still Ron Perlman?
Yes, he's Ron Perlman all throughout.
Alright, sweet.
Yes. Anyway, I think they have so much fun with characters like Clayface because they can do this pretty violent stuff because
there's
they don't
no
have
limit
to
on the
show
animation
blood or
so it's
anything.
like...
Yeah, and there's no limit on the animation.
They can really just do whatever.
Yeah. Imagine how much they had to draw for that final scene.
Oh yeah, I'd say it took weeks.
Yeah, that's probably weeks of drawing for like a 1 minute scene. That's crazy.
It was worth it, I think.
I think it is too because
I think that was a standout scene of this two-parter.
Definitely. I think it's the most beautiful scene we've seen so far.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just beautiful and it's amazing to watch and it still holds up today.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Alright, so Connor, what would you give this two-parter?
I give it a B-.
B-. Same as Two-Face.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, because I was thinking when I said I thought I liked Two-Face more, I was like, did I give that a B+ or B-?
Oh my god. Yeah, well, I'm gonna give it the same grade I gave Two-Face, which is an A+.
Oh wow.
I love it.
Wow.
Like, I was never bored.
Yeah, I guess. That makes sense.
I think the storytelling was pretty good. The only problem I really had was the dialogue was kind of clunky at some points, but...
Yeah.
Especially in the first part, like the second part, the dialogue was pretty good. But
yeah, see, I liked both parts, but I thought the first part was a little bit weak,
yeah.
And then the second part was great.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Some of Batman's dialogue in the first part was kind of, I don't know, I don't know what Kevin Conroy was doing when he was recording that day, but it just didn't sound right. Because when he's like...
He was trying to one-up Ron Perlman.
Yeah, when he finds out about that the cops are after him, he's like... Alfred's like, I can't keep telling them you're out, sir. And he's like, cops? What are you talking about? And he's like, Lucius Fox hospitalized because of Bruce Wayne or whatever. He's like, but that's impossible. Just the way he delivered it was so weird and off.
I didn't actually realize that, but now you mention it,
yeah, that was only...
It doesn't match what he was doing before.
Yeah, that was the only problem I really had with it, though. So, yeah, A+. Okay, next episode, Joker's Favor. This is the episode that introduced Harley Quinn as a character. She eventually made her way into the comics. So, Connor, what did you think of the episode?
Yes. Well, Harley Quinn is my all-time favorite comic book character.
Oh yeah, we need to talk about Harley Quinn.
Yeah, no, I actually really don't like Harley Quinn like at all. But I thought this was a decent episode.
Yeah, you haven't seen much of this version though.
Yeah, exactly.
And she didn't have much. She didn't have much to do in this episode. This was just her introduction episode.
Yeah, I thought for an introduction it was fine. Like, she wasn't really a standout character, but then again, she didn't get much to do. But it's interesting, like, getting introduced in a minor role like this. She ends up becoming, I would say, arguably, besides Wonder Woman, the biggest female DC character of all time. Considering how much she's just in everything lately.
Yeah, I'd probably say
Suicide Squad and all that.
Yeah, around like 2015, 2016, I think she probably broke that barrier.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, like,
because like even like Batgirl or someone like that hasn't done that, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, like of all the characters to become as big as they are, Harley Quinn is kind of shocking to me because I've never thought she was particularly that interesting.
Yeah, like, I've always liked Harley, but she's always just kind of been, like, the Joker's girlfriend or the Joker's...
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. She's always been that chick in the abusive relationship with the Joker.
It's kind of only lately that she's been branching out more away from the Joker.
Yeah, and I think she's best with the Joker, though.
I don't... I think I like her more when she's not with the Joker, but
Really?
There's that dynamic when she is with the Joker that does kind of help her character along.
I don't know. I don't like when, like, she's being abused by the Joker and stuff. I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah, no,
I think the
I don't like
characters
that.
just bounce off of each other pretty well.
Yeah, I can see that.
I like it when they flirt with each other. Their way of flirting.
There was that whistle scene in this that was crazily over the top.
Whistle scene. What was it? I don't...
I know I remember there was a whistle scene that was really over the top where somebody just whistled and it was like ridiculously long.
Oh, Harley probably blew a whistle or something. That's what I'd guess.
Yeah. But the whole Charles plot was actually pretty interesting. Pretty invested in that.
Yeah, did you notice before he ran into the Joker, he was like listening to something on the radio, and it didn't say who it was, which you already knew because of the title of the episode, but it says like someone is... Oh no, it says something about like they're wanted, pretty much. So I'm assuming they're talking about Joker.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then he runs into the Joker, and Joker hunts him down. And I like that whole interaction.
He must have a horrible life. It's like,
Dude,
he just runs into a random guy and it's Joker.
He was like, man, this day is so bad. My boss turned me down for a raise. Bonnie's making meatloaf. And he said something else. I forgot what the other thing was. Then he runs into the Joker, cusses him out. He's like, oh no, I just cursed out the Joker. Then his car breaks down in the middle of nowhere.
Like, of all the people you could piss off, and it's Joker.
Yeah. Like, that's some bad luck. I love the whole interaction though. Joker's like, now what were you gonna do to me? And when he gets out, he's like, here's your 2 cents, and throws pennies at him.
Oh yeah.
Now we can't be cursing each other out on the roads. That's simply just not polite.
It's like that's just classic Joker.
Yeah, Joker is perfect.
Like, he'll be nice and polite to you while he's murdering you.
Yeah. And then he's like, Charlie's like, I'll do anything. And he's like, anything, says you? And he's like, okie dokie.
It's like, see you in 2 years.
Man. Yeah, and the dude changes his name and everything, but still moves out of Gotham, moves to like Ohio or something.
Yeah, he moves crazy far away.
Joker still finds him. He's like, oh, I never lost you. Like, Joker had all his information. He just, like, stalked that dude from there on out.
Like, between every interaction with Batman that he's probably had over the last 2 years, Joker just is constantly keeping an eye on this guy.
Yeah. That was something else that was interesting. Like, the first scene was a flashback scene. So, like, you gotta think, probably, like, Christmas with the Joker and The Last Laugh, like, all the Joker episodes before this probably happened in between there.
Oh, yeah. I would guess that, too, because, like, we're only in season 1, so...
Yeah. And I think this was
like,
actually...
I'd say, like, at most weeks between episodes.
Yeah, I think this was actually the first Joker episode to air, which is interesting.
Really?
Yeah. But this is the fourth one in production order.
Interesting episode to pick.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, the episode order, or the production order and the air date order is so different.
I guess that makes sense, that Joker's first animated appearance would be with Harley Quinn. Like, that people would see.
Yeah. I guess they did know Harley was, like... I mean, they obviously knew she was a good character before they actually released the episode, because they already were wanting to bring her, like, back for the show. And a lot of that was because
so from this point on, did she just, like, appear all the time with Joker?
Yeah, she has a few episodes that are alone.
Okay.
Well, I think she only has one that's alone, but she has one with Ivy. And Joker's in it, but he's not, like, constantly with her or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's a few episodes that just incorporates basically all of Batman's villains, or most of them anyway. Those are the real fun ones. But anyway,
yeah, I'm excited for those kind of ones.
Anyway, this guy, when Joker calls him, he's like, you're coming or I'm gonna murder your family, basically. He's like, okay, what do you want me to do? He goes all the way to Gotham to help Joker do this thing. He's like, I want you to carry this cake. He's like, you brought me all the way here to carry a cake? And Joker's like, look at the size of that thing, man. She can't do it all herself.
Yeah, you could tell Mark Hamill's having a ton of fun with this episode.
Or no, he didn't want him to carry the cake. He wanted him to open a door. Just open a door.
Yeah.
That was great. That's classic Joker. Like,
you wonder if Joker just does this regularly. Like, he just drives around, waits for somebody to just like accidentally do something to him.
He probably does. This is probably Joker's just hobby. Like, I'm just gonna...
Yeah.
Like, when I'm not dealing with Batman, this is all I do.
Whenever he's not terrorizing Gotham, he's just going around finding random people to owe him favors.
Yeah. Like, I need this favor from you. He probably did that to Harley, and...
Oh, yeah.
He was like, oh, okay, well, you worked your magic on me, so I guess you're just my henchwoman now. That will eventually break out onto her own.
Be in Suicide Squad.
Yeah, well, not really in the DCAU. She, like, does, but she always comes back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, spoiler alert, yes.
You mean to tell me Harley Quinn is not in the Suicide Squad?
What? She is in the Suicide Squad. We're getting off track again. We're getting off track again, Connor. Yeah, the museum set piece was really interesting, though.
Yeah, I thought that was good.
Yeah, it was something, I don't know, it's just something that goes good with Joker. You can have a lot of fun with him. I really like
very Arkham-esque.
Yeah. I really like the trapdoor thing with the trapdoor, I guess it's trapdoor, with the spikes or whatever. And when
the
Joker
really over the top kind of trapdoor.
Joker flips it and Batman's just like hanging onto the bottom. Like, you gotta have a lot of upper body strength to do that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, this is why Batman has to be in like peak human condition, so he can do crap like that. Oh yeah, and Batman, when he gets rid of the bombs, he blows up Joker's van.
Oh yeah.
He blew up his van. Like,
this is totally like Batman's like blowing up Joker's stuff just to mess with him.
Yeah. He's like, okay, well, Joker just left. He's not in the van yet, so I'm gonna blow his van up.
He doesn't need this van. He'll just steal a new one.
And then the very end scene, I love this scene so much because someone other than Batman, or even someone other than, like, Gordon, finally sticks it to Joker. Because Charlie gets...
Oh, yeah.
He's threatening him with the bomb. And Joker's, like, yelling for Batman. He's like, Batman! And then he just looks over and he sees Batman. He's like, how long have you been there? Batman was just watching the whole time. And then when Charlie does throw the bomb, he just hides behind Batman.
Oh, yeah.
Batman's like, I'm just gonna assume this isn't a real bomb. He just stands there and waits for it to go off. It's like Batman...
This blows up. I'm dead. But
yeah, it's like Batman...
I'm gonna stand here anyway.
If that was a real bomb, you would have all died. Batman and Joker would just die. Joker would love that.
I wonder if there's like ever been something like that where it's like Batman's overconfidence ends up making a real bomb actually explode. He's like, that's not a real bomb, and it actually does.
Yeah. Oh, I love this scene. This might be my favorite part of the episode, actually, just because it made me laugh. Is when it's just Batman and Joker, and Batman's walking up to Joker, and Joker's like sitting against the wall, and he's acting scared, and then he's like, catch, and he throws the bomb at Batman. Oh no, this was just an episode full of classic Joker stuff, and it was amazing.
Yeah. It was basically Joker just being as Joker as possible.
Yeah, and it was the introduction of Harley Quinn, so did something big for the world of Batman.
Yeah, exactly. Introduced one of the most iconic characters in Batman lore ever.
Introducing Harley Quinn and redefining the character in Mr. Freeze are definitely the two biggest things this show did.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
and also Mark Hamill Joker.
Yeah, Mark Hamill. Kevin Conroy as Batman. The show just did
Ron
everything.
Perlman is Clayface.
Yes, Ron Perlman is the definitive Clayface. My definitive
anytime Clayface shows up in the DCEU, unless it's Hellboy, I'm gonna be disappointed.
Unless it's Hellboy.
Yeah. I don't even want it to be Ron Perlman voicing him, I just want it to be Hellboy.
Oh. Clayface just shapes into Hellboy.
It just stays like that for the rest of the movie.
Okay, so, Connor, what would you give this episode?
I would give it a B.
A B? A B?
Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah,
Connor.
B.
Come on, Connor.
Better than a B minus.
I'm doubling up on my A pluses.
What?
A plus.
Dang it.
This is one of my favorite episodes of the entire show.
Okay. I can see why. You know, it's got Harley Quinn. It's got Charles, everybody's favorite Joker henchman.
Joker henchman.
Because he didn't want to be a henchman. He just wrong place, wrong time.
So, Everest, you missed like 5 episodes last time.
Yeah.
Just tell everyone your brief thoughts on all those episodes and what you'd give it.
Alright, See No Evil was like, I don't know, I didn't really enjoy that episode. There was a lot of stuff that I'm like, why was this in the show? And, I mean, if some people enjoy it, that's great, but I didn't really like it. So, I give See No Evil a D+. And then Beware the Grey Ghost is a great episode. We have Adam West as the Grey Ghost, and it's just such a cool concept. I love a lot of that. So I give that an A. Then Prophecy of Doom, again, it's like really weird. There's some kind of cool stuff, but I don't know, I just didn't really think it fits that well. So I enjoyed parts of it, so I gave it a C-.
Whoa,
and then
that shocks me. You gave See No Evil a lower grade than Prophecy of Doom?
yeah,
Dang, that's interesting.
I don't know. I didn't really like. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see why someone wouldn't like See No Evil. I enjoyed it for mostly.
Yeah, that's fine. I didn't really like it. Then Feet of Clay is also a great 2-parter, and I think they did that Clayface origin story really, really well. So I think I'm gonna give that an A as well. And then Joker's Favor is in like my top 5 favorite episodes of this series. From what I can remember, it was still so good, and I'm gonna give Joker's Favor an A+.
You literally stalked that man. Okay, so 2 A's, an A+, a C-, and a D+.
Yeah.
Alright, so this episode we're going to be talking about the next 3 episodes of Batman the Animated Series: Vendetta, Fear of Victory, and The Clock King. Let's go ahead and jump into Vendetta. What did you think of this episode, Everest?
No, I actually did quite enjoy it more than I remembered. I don't think that Killer Croc design is very good at all. I don't really like it, but
yeah,
other than
the Croc design is one of the few designs I don't care for in the show.
like, why is he gray? What the heck? Like,
yeah, he's gray and he doesn't really look like a crocodile. Like,
no.
only his teeth are the only crocodile-ish thing about him. Really.
Yeah, it's not a great design, but I did kind of like the concept of him trying to, frame Bullock, and I thought that was pretty cool, and how Batman had to kind of figure that out, use his detective skills, find the underwater caves and stuff. There were some, okay fights between Killer Croc and Batman. I thought the way Batman defeated him was pretty good, and there's some stuff that doesn't quite work for me, but overall, even though it's not like a super memorable episode, I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, I enjoyed this episode a lot more than I thought I was going to, just from past viewings. And I've always enjoyed the concept of Croc framing Bullet. I just find that kind of stuff interesting when a criminal just wants to frame a cop or something and impersonates them and all that. Sets them up for crimes.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the part where Croc is in Bullock's car just waiting for him. I think it's after he gets released from prison. and Batman's in the back seat when Croc's
Yeah.
about to do something to Bullock and just grabs his hand. That's amazing. I just love the shot.
That was cool.
And I thought the final battle was pretty good between
Yeah.
Batman and Croc in the sewers.
In the sewers, yeah, that was good.
And I didn't remember that. I mean, obviously knew Croc made it, but I didn't remember that Batman actually carried him out of the sewers and Bullock arrested him.
Oh yeah.
I thought they were gonna leave it ambiguous where Croc just kind of disappears, but no. Batman got him. And I love the end between Batman and Bullock and the very end scene where something's on TV about Bullock and he's just says something about I'm gonna keep locking him up or whatever. And that smile Batman has, I love it because it really shows you the dynamic between Batman and Bullock. Like, they're not always they both fight crime, but in different ways. They abide by the law. Batman even says something like that in the episode. So overall, I really enjoyed it, and I think this is one of the better introduction episodes for a villain that we've had so far.
Yeah, I would agree.
I'd probably say it's about on the level the Scarecrow one is. So, let's go ahead and give it some letter grades. What would you give it, Everest?
I give it a solid B.
Oh yeah, completely agree. Solid B.
Yeah, alright.
Okay, jumping into the next episode, Fear of Victory, Return of the Scarecrow. He has a different design this time around. What did you think of this episode? Also, Return of Robin. So, what do you think of this episode, Everest?
Yeah. I've always just kind of like low-key liked this episode. It's never been like my favorite, but I've always thought it was just kind of a fun watch, and it kind of stayed that way when I was rewatching it. I do quite like it, actually, and the Return of Robin is cool, and I like that he's like in college and he has a connection to one of the victims and all that. And I think the part about him having to like overcome the fear toxin is pretty cool. I think, you know, some of the Scarecrow's plan felt kind of weird to me, like when he's gassing all these, like, you know, athletes and all of that. And overall, I think, again, some things do not work, and like there's nothing completely stands out. I think the new design is a little bit better than the original design. I liked it a bit more, and again, this series does a good job of showing how Batman uses his detective skills, and I love when he goes to the jail and the one guy on Scarecrow's team is like, nope, he's in his he's definitely here in the jail, Batman. And Batman's just like, bruh, no. And how they stopped him was pretty cool. And I enjoy this episode.
Something else about when they go to Arkham to confront Scarecrow and find out he's not there. I think this is the first episode where there are villain cameos inside Arkham Asylum. I don't remember ever seeing them before this. Because I know they show like Joker and Arkham and stuff, but I don't remember seeing other villains.
Yeah.
Dang,
that's cool, actually. I never thought about that.
Yeah, because you see Joker, you see Ivy, Two-Face. And that's something that's going to be happening a lot in the future of the show, but I think this was the first time they did it.
Yeah.
And it just really fleshes out that world even more, and it's really cool. And when they find out that Scarecrow isn't there, you just hear Joker laugh. I love Joker's role in this episode, even though it's very, very minor.
Oh, yeah.
It just elevated the episode a little bit more for me, and yeah, like you said, this is an episode I've always enjoyed, but I've never thought it was, like, absolutely amazing, like, not mind-blowing or anything. Wouldn't say it's elite, but it's really enjoyable. I'd say it's great, maybe? Close to great. I wouldn't quite put it up there, but
yeah,
it's a really good, enjoyable episode. I think I did enjoy the final battle, but I think if the animation was a bit more fluid and just Scarecrow kind of imposed more of a physical threat on Batman, it would have elevated it a bit, but
yeah, I thought too, like I don't know, somehow they could have raised the stakes a little bit more, because it didn't feel like this was like a big deal.
Yeah, because it was just about a vial falling in a football stadium. And just the way the vial gets tossed around is kind of ridiculous, honestly. But I like how they show that Robin overcomes his fear to save everyone. And I mean, they kind of, even though Robin doesn't, most of the episode he's just scared out of his mind, they kind of show why Robin is important to Batman in this episode.
Yeah.
Because even when Robin's not wanting to go, Batman's like, no, I come, you can be my extra set of eyes. Which I really love that, because it acknowledges that Batman cares about Dick, and like, he wants him to come when he can.
Yeah.
Even if he uses him as bait to take down the villain. Even though he did in this episode. Robin saved the day this episode.
Hey, Robin, I care about you so much. Now go be bait for this supervillain.
Yeah, and I really like how they tested the powder that was with the telegrams on the cat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And they explain it, which it all made sense. I remember the whole thing about the adrenaline is what caused the fear, because your excitement turns to fear. So glad they explained that, because that would probably be a complaint for some people if they didn't. So I don't have much more to say about this episode. Let's go ahead and give it some letter grades. Everest, what would you give it?
Okay, I give this one a B+. I really enjoy it.
Yep, same, B+. We're just gonna be on the same page throughout this whole rewatch, like.
Yeah.
Okay, so next episode, The Clock King. What did you think of this one?
I would say this one is a solid step down from the first two that we talked about. It's still an okay episode. I wouldn't put it near the worst of the worst by any means, but you know,
Clock King just doesn't really interest me as a villain.
They tried their best to make him interesting, but what can you really do? Like, I don't care about this guy who's, you know, quote unquote superpowers, you know, he's good with time and stuff. And a lot of this episode is just ridiculous and kind of almost comical, and some of it does work for me. I like how ridiculous it gets, but some of it feels pretty out of place with the whole series and Gotham and everything. And, you know, I think that, like, having, like, the kind of final battle thing with, who did he put, the mayor on the, like, clock, clock hand?
Because at the beginning of the episode is flashback, and I think he was a lawyer at the time, not the mayor yet, and Fugit, who is Clock King in this adaptation, basically thinks he got screwed over by him, and he lost like $20 million, and he blames it all on him because he screwed up his schedule.
Yeah, it's like kind of just like, what are we even doing here? I do think there is, you know, a little bit of entertainment to be found in this episode, and Batman is still great as always, and I do like when Batman's like kind of stuck in the room and Clock King's like, that won't work, and Batman goes to another thing and Clock King's like, haha, that won't work because this and that. I thought it was sort of cool to see him almost outsmarting Batman for a while.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clever how Batman escaped. He used the film and the recording tape to like get the explosive outside the room, and then he blew it up.
So I think like that stuff was pretty cool, but otherwise I wasn't that interested in this episode. I still think it's fine, and I didn't hate watching it or anything, but it's just never gonna be one that I really remember as being a great episode.
Yeah, this is definitely not the worst episode of the show, but if I like Clock King a bit more, maybe I'd enjoy it more, but I just don't find Clock King that interesting of a villain. But I really like the final battle when Batman's throwing punches and everything, and he's like, I know it takes you 1/20th of a second to throw a punch.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. I think that was probably the best usage of his time obsession or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Is that it shows why he can be capable of fighting Batman, even though he obviously doesn't oppose any physical prowess or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, you basically hit on everything. Like, he just screws with time. He's throwing stuff off schedule, like he's messing with the traffic lights, making everyone wreck or whatever.
Yeah.
And when the train's supposed to come at Mirror Hill's thing, it doesn't show up on time. So yeah, just stuff like that throughout the episode, and the only stuff I really enjoyed was Batman escaping the room and then the final battle with him and Clock King. Also enjoyed the very final scene with Batman and Gordon.
Oh yeah.
Where Gordon's like, no one could have survived that or whatever, and Batman's like, if I did, he could. Or if I could, he could, so.
Yeah.
And then Gordon says something like, so you think we'll be seeing him again? And Batman's like, yep, I think it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, but like, I don't think he ever shows up again in the series.
He does once.
Oh, he does, he has that, okay.
Yeah. It'll be a while, but he shows back up.
Yeah, alright.
So, let's go ahead and give this one some letter grades.
Oh, how about, you want to go first this time?
Okay, I'll give this one a C.
I completely agree. I was hoping you would go C minus, so I could go C, and then it would be different. But no.
Yeah, we're just on the same page. We just like the same stuff.
Yeah.
If Connor was here, he would have gave completely different grades, probably.
Yeah, that's why we need Connor, so it's not just like two guys saying the same thing. And
yeah, we've already talked about the show a lot, so that's why.
Yeah.
So Connor, last time you missed 3 episodes of the show: Vendetta, Fear of Victory, and The Clock King. Just go ahead and give your overall thoughts of those 3 episodes and a letter grade for each.
Okay, Vendetta was cool. I thought the Killer Croc design was interesting. It's pretty different. I thought it was all that. I thought it was a very Scooby-Doo-like episode, which is it's kind of weird, but it felt like that. I thought it was like a B plus, or no, sorry, not B plus, a B minus. Then Fear of Victory was cool. It was good if Robin was back because he'd been gone for like what 10, 20 episodes maybe.
Yeah, Robin kind of just comes and goes as he pleases.
He was gone. Yeah, he was gone for if you count 2-parters as separate episodes, 22 episodes.
Yeah.
Because
Hey, he was putting in that grind at college, you know.
Yeah,
he was. He was busy.
The only other episode he was in was Christmas with the Joker. Before then.
Oh wow!
And that was episode 2.
Yeah.
Well, gosh darn.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good episode. I thought Scarecrow had a good bit like Joker in it. It was a little odd, but good episode. It was nice seeing Robin again and actually having him do stuff rather than just show up and be in the background. So I thought that was a B plus. And then cool. It was cool not seeing the William Talkman Clock King, a different version. I thought it was a really interesting, unique episode. Like one of the more ones that stood out to me, and the way he trapped Batman in the bank is the exact same as he did to Team Arrow in his first appearance in Arrow, which was cool. And yeah, I thought that was a pretty decent episode, but it was made way better by Clock King. I thought that was a B plus as well.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, dang. Getting that Clock King some love, okay. Rated in that kind of...
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not a huge fan of Clock King. I think Connor likes him way more than we do.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why I like him so much.
hey, Clock
King,
King,
like he's really cool.
Clock King deserves some love.
I remember he was in like one episode of Batman the Brave and the Bold with like Batman and Green Arrow, and it was pretty cool.
Batman, yeah, he was in. Yeah, I remember seeing. I like the design in Brave and the Bold. I like him when he has a clock as a face, and I don't know why.
Oh yeah, like that design was so goofy, but I kind of loved it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into the 3 episodes we're doing for this week, which is Appointment in Crime Alley, Mad as a Hatter. I got that episode name wrong last time, and I'm embarrassed for that. And Dreams in Darkness, capping off Volume 1. So let's go ahead and jump into Appointment Crime Alley. Connor, what do you think of that episode?
I thought this was kind of an average episode. It was cool seeing Roland Daggett back. The soundtrack was always good. It was nice having an episode that was all kind of about Bruce helping out civilians rather than taking down like a really big villain or something. But yeah, we got the first kind of hints, I think, that Bruce's parents did die in Crime Alley and all that stuff, and him at the end leaving the roses was nice.
That was the appointment
overall,
he had.
Sorry?
That was the appointment he had.
Yeah. The appointment in Crime Alley. But yeah, overall, I thought, it was a pretty average episode, but the Bruce helping the civilians and then leaving the roses and the Crime Alley stuff was pretty cool. But yeah, I'd give it I forgot we don't give grade stars. Never mind.
When you're away from the series, so long, you forget how it works.
Everest, what do you think?
So I don't think this is like a top tier episode, but I would say it's like above average. I really do like seeing, Batman kind of having to juggle, he has to get to Leslie, but also there's all this other stuff going on that he has to stop, and seeing Roland Daggett was cool. But, I just love that this was really kind of the first episode that seriously dove into, the murder of Bruce's parents, at least I think. And so it was cool, again, seeing him leave the roses, that got me kind of emotional, man. I'm not gonna lie. And, I just think it's a good episode. I love when, Batman is, driving and he, does the grappling hook around the, lamppost. And,
that reminded me of Batman 89.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And, overall, I just think it was pretty good. There was no, huge epic moment in this one that made me, go, wow, this is an incredible episode. But it was just kind of, solid with a bunch of nice moments throughout it. Nothing I would really criticize. Some of the plot is, a little bit cliche, but overall, I enjoy this episode.
Yeah, and I may be wrong, but was this the introduction in the show to Leslie Tompkins? Did we see her before this episode?
I don't think so.
We did.
Yeah, I don't either, and we'll be seeing her a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
So, she's not as big as Alfred or anything, but she's a pretty important character in the show. Yeah. And, yeah, it's not anything special. I think it is above average, and out of the episodes that this show does that are different and, stray away from Batman's rogues gallery and all that, I think it's kind of weaker on that side of thing. I think it's Never Too Late is a much better episode. But yeah. I did really enjoy this episode, and another thing is, the roses in Crime Alley. Connor, you might know this since you read comics and stuff.
Yeah.
Was that a thing before Batman 89?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
It was? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's always kind of been the crux of Batman's parents and that.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's cool seeing Roland Daggett again. We'll be seeing him a little more, in the series throughout. He's kind of like Rupert Thorne. He's just kind of reoccurring.
Yeah,
crime
and
boss.
I like how they just showed how, Batman can't always, put away the bad guy for good. Roland Daggett gets away in this, which...
Yeah, this was also kind of the first time the villain won. Batman didn't get him.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, interesting. So, that's about all I can say. That you haven't already said. So, Connor, letter grades?
I'd give it a C.
Okay.
Ooh.
Everest?
C for cool.
Cool.
I give it a B+. I really like it.
Oh, wow.
It's not, the best, but...
That's interesting. I'll give it a C+. I think it's slightly above average. It's not, anything too special.
I like it more than, I thought I would, but
Yeah, I did like it more than I thought I would or remembered liking, but...
Yeah, I was going back and forth between a B and a B+, but, I don't know. I liked it.
Okay, going into Mad as a Hatter, the introduction of Jervis Tetch. Connor, what did you think of this episode?
Jervis Tetch he's an interesting villain. He's one that gets overlooked a lot in Batman lore. Like, I think Gotham was his first live-action appearance ever. Was it?
Pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
Like, it's kind of crazy that, you know, he's kind of a semi-well-known villain, but it took him that long to get live-action appearance. So it's cool he got introduced pretty early into the series in this. He was really creepy in this, though. Like, and I also, while he was interesting enough, I wasn't big on his plot with Alice. I thought it was a bit weird.
Yeah.
He got introduced before the Riddler. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I was like, what?
Like, it blows my mind that, like, the villains that are introduced before someone like the Riddler.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know why they didn't really dive into him at all.
I don't know, they've said, like, the Riddler is a hard character to write good, so I kind of get it, but then again, like, you'd think you'd want one Riddler episode kind of early.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
he's such a well-known villain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Because
anyway.
I don't think there's been a bad Riddler, to be honest. I think every Riddler we've seen, like, in the games or in live action is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like Jim Carrey, but that's just me.
Oh, okay. I dare you.
I don't like him either, but it's kind of a fun performance if you're just, you know.
Okay,
Turn your brain off.
We spent 2 minutes talking about the Riddler when we don't have a Riddler episode.
Oh.
Okay, back to Mad Hatter. Mad as a Hatter, Connor.
Yeah, it was good. I thought it was, again, kind of an alright episode that was elevated by Jervis Tetch being more than an average villain. He's interesting enough to keep your attention. Like, he isn't something that just kind of you forget about. But cool thing that Batman's got an ejector seat in the Batmobile. That was a cool scene. But yeah, it was good seeing Jervis Tetch.
Oh yeah, something else is this kind of had some more legacy casting. Roddy McDowall voices Mad Hatter, and he was the Bookworm in Batman 66.
Oh,
Yes.
cool.
Yeah. And I think didn't he pass away like last year or a couple years ago, something like that?
I think he did.
Which sucks.
Or, yeah.
Okay, Everest, what did you think of this episode?
While I do think it's a solid episode, I don't like. It feels, some of the stuff in here feels like too weird for me, even for Mad Hatter, who is a very, you know, obscure character. I wasn't feeling the stuff with Alice and, you know, like her boyfriend / fiance. Some of it just didn't really work for me, and as like a motivation, I guess it makes sense, but I feel like there's more interesting stuff you can do with Mad Hatter, which we'll be getting to in the series pretty shortly here. But it was a pretty cool episode. Jervis Tetch definitely, his presence elevates it. I wasn't totally into like the nitty gritty of like everything that goes on, but as an episode, I think it functions pretty well and definitely stays on its feet throughout, and yet some pretty interesting stuff. Some of it was a bit too weird for me, but I liked it.
All the stuff with her boyfriend was so weird because it's like, oh, we got engaged, we're getting married, and then they're split up, and then he wants her back. I'm like, what? What is this?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not what happens.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what happens when you're about to get married.
See, if they gave Jervis a bit more of an interesting plot here than him wanting to be with Alice, and just that whole side plot, I think it would have been a better episode if he'd gotten something more interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I really like this episode. I loved Mad Hatter in this series, and this is really the only thing I've ever loved Mad Hatter in. This show, like, actually shows him a lot of love. We'll be seeing quite a bit more of him. He
had a dope level in the first Lego Batman game.
Yeah, he did.
Like, that was one of my favorite levels, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I remember liking it. I remember he looked like a leprechaun in that game.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah, and when he, like, mind controls the guys in the park, and he just tells them to, what does he say, jump in the lake or pond or whatever? Because I guess he can't say go jump off a bridge.
Yeah, kid show people.
They can get guns and like sexual innuendos but past the censors, but they can't get jump off a bridge.
Yeah.
They can get Joker saying it'll be more fun when the train crashes because Summer Gleason's mom is on it past the censors, but they can't go jump off a bridge. It's ridiculous. that was the 90s, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't really add too much more of what you guys said. I think it was a good introduction episode. I mean, there have been a lot of good introduction episodes for villains.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I feel like the villains in this are better written than a lot of the live action stuff.
oh yeah, just the team behind the show, like they just knew how to write a lot of the villains.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a good introduction episode. It's not the best Mad Hatter episode, but I think it sets up him as a character well and like kind of shows you what can happen with him in the future. And yeah, the whole Alice thing has always been kind of weird to me, so like it didn't really bother me in this episode because that's what I'm accustomed to with Mad Hatter. So.
Yeah. It's like you get Mad Hatter, you probably get the Weird Alice stuff.
Yeah, and I really like Roddy McDowell as the voice. I think his voice just fits that character. So, yeah, let's go ahead and give that some letter grades. Connor, what would you give it?
I would give it a B-.
Okay, Everest?
I would give it a C+. I think it's pretty solid, but I don't love it that much.
Well, I'm kind of like Connor here with the Appointment in Crime Alley. His was totally different. I'm going to give this episode an A-.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
you really love yourself some Mad Hatter, huh?
In the show, yes. Okay, so final episode of Volume 1, Dreams in Darkness. It's another Scarecrow episode. Connor, what did you think?
So this episode is the first one to air, isn't it?
No, I think Cat in the Claw was the first one to air. It might be the first Scarecrow episode to air. If that's what you're saying?
I don't know why this one then, because this is the only episode of the show that I had seen before.
Really?
Because I tried to watch the series about a year ago. I think it was like last November. I tried to start watching it, and this was the first episode I saw, and I thought I was watching it in air date order. I must not have been. I must have been watching some weird order. But yeah, so I'd seen this one, and I was like, this does not feel like this should be a first episode. And then I went back and saw that like there were so many different air date orders. I was like, okay, I'm not going to watch this for a while. And I just stopped after that. But yeah,
this might have been like the first episode to air in like Ireland or something. It wasn't in America,
maybe.
I can tell you for a fact that it wasn't the first episode to air in America.
I don't know what order I was looking at. Air order.
Yeah, this would be a really weird premiere.
Oh yeah.
It'd make no sense.
I was like, this is weird.
Mm-hmm.
Where are they showing this? But yeah, it's like a Smallville episode was very similar to this. I think it was like season 6, episode 12 or something, where Clark was in an asylum and he was made to think that everything was about Krypton and all that was made up. It's like that, Bruce is in Arkham and he's made to think that the whole Batman stuff is, not legit. And I thought the guy he was fighting looked like something from New Genesis. Am I doing one think of that?
The driller guy?
Yeah, I thought he looked like something that would have came from Apocalypse or New Genesis.
I gotta go look at it.
I don't know.
Keep talking while I'll look at it.
Okay. I like the bit where he crashed the Batmobile thinking he was hitting Robin. It's like Robin's always there in his mind and stuff like that, even when he's going crazy. And I was surprised Scarecrow episode already, because didn't we have a Scarecrow episode not too long before this?
We literally you literally just talked about one. it's one of the episodes you missed.
We did, didn't we? 4
episodes back.
Yep. I just scrolled back up there and saw it. Never mind. moving along.
It's like
the fear parts.
It's like they were like, okay, what can we do for a finale? Like, we can't use Joker again. We've already used him 4 times. Let's use Scarecrow. we can.
Like
we can
Riddler,
still
Bane. There's tons of villains we haven't done yet. Nope, Scarecrow.
I mean, I think it works good as a cap to a volume just because of the fear toxin and stuff. He can see a lot of his...
Yeah.
Like, the scene where he sees all his rogues gallery in the tunnel.
Yeah, that was cool.
Like the giant penguin, and then...
Yeah, like the rat turns to
Two-Face.
Joker, and then he sees Penguin, and, like... Doesn't Penguin's head pop and he turns into Two-Face?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like... That's kind of violent.
That's kind of dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, also, Arkham does a terrible job of keeping Scarecrow locked up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and not
Like,
noticing
more
that he's gone.
And it's like, no,
One
I'm sure
of our
Scarecrow's there.
biggest
I've
villains
said this 5 times.
escaped. What? No, he didn't escape. He's right. Oh, crap. He did escape.
No, don't you see this guy sitting in? Oh, wait, that's not him.
Yeah.
But yeah, thought it was a good episode. I liked it.
Also, yeah, he also, when he's under the influence of the fear toxin, he sees, like, the giant gun that killed his parents. Like,
Yeah.
through the tunnel.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was dark, too. Like, this is a dark episode.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I think it's actually really good capping off the volume. So, Everest, what do you think?
No, I agree with, like, a lot of, what Connor said. And I agree with you, too. Like, to cap off this volume, it definitely works. And I always like when, you know, Batman has to overcome something like fear toxin using his will and that stuff. And so I think it does work good. I don't have that much to say about it, but, like, I did like it, and, I feel like it's such a, like, Batman move to, have the antidote and then not take it because you don't want to be out of action for 2 days, and then you get all of it. It was just very Batman, and it is pretty dark. Overall, I think it's good.
I think it's really good. I love this episode. It's my favorite Scarecrow episode so far. And it's my favorite Scarecrow episode before we get into the new Batman adventures, because it's weird that they did do 3 Scarecrow episodes in Volume 1, but we don't get another one until the new Batman adventures, because something happened with his voice actor. Like, he got some kind of sickness with his throat or something and couldn't really voice act.
Gee.
So, I'm glad we got this episode because it's the last Scarecrow episode for a while, and I think this show's version of Scarecrow is really good. And I just enjoyed pretty much everything about this episode. I think the pacing was pretty well done. I just thought the only weird thing was, like, at the end when he gets out of Arkham and goes to take down Scarecrow, like the goons with Scarecrow, how they just turn into those weird green monster things. Like, it just looks like something from Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's, like, my only major flaw with this episode. I absolutely love it. So, letter grades, what would you give it, Connor?
I'd give it a B.
Okay, Everest?
I agree with Connor. I give it a B.
Dang, I'm gonna give it a big fat A.
Oof.
Yeah, this is actually one of my, I wouldn't say favorite episodes of this show, but it's up there. So that was Volume 1 of Batman the Animated Series. We made it through, guys.
Yay! In 5 months, we made it through the first volume. Let's go!
Scheduling, time zones, it's all a factor.